crap.
I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
I believe. Did it take? Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, it did.
Streaming.
Chat. The world's quickest weekend is almost over.
That's not. Wait, is that shortest days or something? Why is it the quickest?
No,
weekend?
it just feels really short. Like I feel like I blinked, and it's Sunday night.
I can't see the chat. So I'm just gonna depend on these two to.
My good.
There's your little ship.
Welcome
so you just
to the actual
pick
universe.
a planet and start.
You may find it's different from our homeland.
Well, I don't, the last
Should you
time
be able to adapt to the laws of physics in
I
a short
shouldn't
time,
have picked
I am
any
your
planet other than
advisor
the one they told me to.
and will help you through this mission.
So this is the travel through space part, and you have to deal with the Newtonian orbits and stuff, and it's actually kind of difficult to get your head around. I'm sure it's easy once you figure it out. He should be.
Everything here is yours. As one of Cosmo,
Oh
and
yeah,
the
he's talking.
pioneer of
Is
the
he a
Dyson
cockroach
Sphere
or is he
program,
just a robot?
you will explore this cluster
RTK
step
is just
by
trying to
step.
send me into an
By using the
existential panic
resources
attack.
here to construct the
January
Dyson
is
Sphere
almost
to
over.
provide energy for
It
the
is.
Sphere
Hush with
frame
that.
to
Hush.
maintain homeland, starting from scratch. I have chosen a
Game is a
designated
bit
planet
loud.
for you to start the mission, which has necessary resources for initial development. Now please drive the space capsule to the planet.
Do you drive a space capsule or do you fly it?
Let's say you drive it.
I think you fly it.
No.
I think drive would indicate contact with a friction surface.
Let's invent a new verb.
Is it
Now
mildly
you are
illegal?
about to reach the designated
Yeah.
planet.
Then you're gonna sound like robot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're a little bit robot-y
Crap.
over Discord. I'm not sure if that's your connection or just something with your mic setting.
Let me unplug it 1 second.
So yeah, everybody. I don't know how you guys, if you guys are aware of this game, but if you're thinking, "Gosh, this looks a little bit like Factorio," yeah, it does. Plays
It's
a
a
little
prettier
bit like it,
version.
too. You know how
This
in
is Icarus,
Factorio,
a lightweight industrial
Let's let
mecha
this guy talk.
with powerful functionality. You can use the arrow keys or right-click on the destination to control its movement. In this mission, you will manipulate.
let's
What does
take
he sound like?
The game's main volume down. How's that?
Oh yeah, that's
Icarus
definitely
to
somebody with
travel
English
beyond
as a
the
second
stars
language.
and create miracles.
Oh, you sound better, Wendell. Did you just replugged your mic?
Yeah. Dr. Dick just subscribed to Tier 1, thank you.
Now try to recycle the space capsule.
yeah,
Right-click
let's recycle
on it to
the
recycle.
So yeah, this you know how in
You can use
Factorio.
the same
Oh
operation
my God!
to
Stop
collect
talking.
resources, such as trees, gravel, etc. In
Yeah,
the meantime,
Oh, please go away. You know how in Factorio your goal is to get
you
the,
receive
like,
several
oh
items
my
after
God!
recycling the space capsule. Click the inventory button. In the
Literally every time you start talking, he pops back up.
You're supposed to get first blue research and then red research, and it goes on from there. Well,
Yeah.
in this game, what you do is at first you get blue research and then you get red research.
Right.
Well, that's completely different.
I feel like this is just Factorio with better graphics.
It is much more than that, though, because
You can hold down mouse middle button drag,
oh, it's because you
There
can hold
it
down
goes.
mouse middle button because this
or slide the mouse
piece of
wheel
shit.
to zoom in and out.
I could probably turn that off the settings easily, but I'm not going to because I'm angry. Alright, now you do have to fuel up your mech, which is kind of annoying. It does burn through the fuel. Alright, so
Do you have to have the mech, or is that just like a?
yeah, you're just the mech as your character. You can't ever get out.
It's starting to fill up with pee already.
I'm sure there's some sort of
Yet you have
moisture.
not unlocked the construction menu, which will be done
capture
automatically when
method.
complete any technology research.
Right,
Click the
yeah, so I
technology
need some
tree button
technology.
at the bottom right of the screen to open the
Because
technology
I got to get this
tree
miner.
and
That's going to
activate
cost
a research.
me magnetic coils.
I was looking at this on Steam when you mentioned it, And the skill tree looks absolutely overwhelming.
And you know,
Around your Factorio.
you can cook stuff in your suit, like most crafting games, but not everything, just like Factorio. Some of the more complicated ones. Now I need magnets, so I need iron. And you can do your little shitty, you know, before you get the miner mining. That's really inefficient. Although this has the added inefficiency of burning fuel in the mech while you're doing it.
You have created a mining machine to achieve.
Now who's the
order
enemy? So it was like the dog bug
Pick it
things.
up from the
No
inventory
in Factorio.
or
That is
select
one
Oh.
big difference.
gathering
No
of
enemies
construction
at all.
menu to build it.
Well, it's kind of a bummer. I always kind of thought that was like a fun element of Factorio, was always worrying about how much pollution you're putting
You
out.
can use the R key to
Now, it
rotate the
could
mining
be
machine for covering more veins.
That
The more veins covered, the faster the
they're
ores will
gonna
be
add later.
gathered.
It's early
If
access.
you want to ignore grid snap,
True.
try holding down the shift
I just log in here and you're talking about filling up with pee. Listen, his suit, it doesn't have an outtake valve.
And this, you do have wind energy now. Clean
Oh.
energy.
wind turbine. You have established your first.
One of the houses we looked at had a
power facility
had wind
as a
energy
power supply.
for like
You
a
have
secondary
Tesla power
space.
to extend the
Does
area
that
of
weird.
the power
does that do
grid.
anything around here?
I guess so. They had solar panels and then they had this little tiny like wind vane.
Okay, so I want to get smelting or science or assembling. I guess I should go for science.
Trent wants to know, what about nuclear power?
I have not encountered nuclear power yet, but see, the whole goal of this game is to generate power, essentially. So like, we can't look at it yet. So this is the solar system I'm in. But then you can see back there in the background
Oh, there's more.
all that shit. So what
Wow.
you want to do? Oh, here we go. Yeah, we can zoom all the way out.
Oh, this is like Empyreon, where it's got the giant galaxy map.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to construct our Dyson sphere. There's two different kinds. There's the shell and I can't remember what the other one's called. And then that will capture all the energy from this star. And then we create a giant network. So basically it's, you do everything you did in Factorio, but then there's like a whole other
Expansion quality, I guess.
space thing to that. And then so the reason I say all that is because the energy is the end game, and the way you get energy eventually is from your Dyson setups. So you have like collectors that you build. Okay, so we got to do this. You got to have obviously iron and copper.
Can you
Again.
do your little belts like you can in Factorio?
No, it's the GUI's a little different. So down here is just structures that you can build, and these don't fill up until you get the tech tree. But then you've got this construction menu where you can do components, or you can also do buildings from here.
But you can't automate it, because that was the whole thing with Factorio, was automating all your lines.
You can automate almost everything in here. Will automate. So it's showing you like this is in a column format. So this
Yeah.
is the base material, and these are two materials that can come from that.
Okay.
And then it's also arranged where like this is a requirement for this, but this is the base material. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
And then well, I guess that's not how it's arranged. But anyway, and this starts to fill up, and you can cook whatever you want in this little thing here until they get too complicated. But yeah, you got to have the constructors just like Factorio.
Is there any wildlife on the planet? Are all the bees dead?
I know it's probably like something they're gonna add later, but there's definitely, well, trees. The trees are alive. And look at that, I'm out of fuel, so we will harvest some trees. I gotta say, even if it only lasted for, you know, the 20-30 minutes that this is gonna last, having a giant mech that ran on wood would be fantastic.
It doesn't have to burn it, so you know you're not like burning up inside of it.
Well, somehow it does it. I don't know how it does it.
Ice, heavy rain, thunderstorms, and snow. Tell me more, Chris Bailey.
When is that?
Rain. That's I guess tomorrow. Rainfall forecast through Tuesday, 1 to 3 inches.
Yeah, it was supposed to rain a bunch today too.
Wait,
It did a
rain?
little bit.
But that's not snow.
Rue was mad because we were up in the kitchen cooking, and she always wants to go hang out on the patio, which we usually let her do, but it was like pouring rain, so she wasn't allowed out there. And she kept pouting and scratching the door.
You know what I'm really excited about that has been working correctly every time it rains? The drain. It's gonna be some kind of milestone. It's like, oh, the joy of using a Threadripper to do all my computation and properly working drains.
I should order some cookies to celebrate.
No.
Are you guys gonna do the drunk news? We do that once a year usually, and we've already done it for 2020. I'm actually having a glass of wine right now, but not getting crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 2021 might be weird. Who knows? We might do it again. There's a new strain in Africa that doesn't seem to be affected by people that have had it before, meaning that the inoculations probably don't work.
Yeah, it's not great.
The
So this is the second, like, big strain that they've been worried about, but this one looks like it might be worse.
Yeah.
the amount of walking back how much control the Biden administration was about to take over this disease is amazing. They're basically just throwing their
Yeah.
hands up at this point.
It is frustrating.
So I gotta wait. I think I gotta get this next research before I can do conveyor belts. The early game's a little frustrating here, I gotta say. It wasn't this bad the original time I went through it because I didn't realize what I didn't know. What's that? An organic
New strain Ebola hybrid.
I bet that would make people wear their mask and stay the fuck at home.
Oh my gosh. Well, that disease is interesting. I mean, in a horrific sort of way, because, like, there's no denying it has symptoms. Like, you will start bleeding out of every orifice, so it burns through its victims pretty quickly, and, like, people will stay the hell away from you if you do have symptoms of it. Fascinating disease. Horrific, but very interesting. Did you guys make any New Year's resolutions? You know, now that it's the end of January?
I barely even noticed that the new year happened.
Same.
Yeah.
I need conveyor belts.
Super Contagious Airborne Ebola is basically the endgame of Plague Inc. I finally unlocked Virus on that a couple weeks ago. I haven't played it since then, though. Virus wasn't dramatically different from Bacteria when I, like, played it, though. Like, I just looked at the skill tree. It looks like it has a higher chance of, like, mutations happening if you do the virus path in Plague Inc.
I
How
heard
does-
the mobile version of it was also really popular now.
Yeah, the mobile version sucks though, because I have it on my phone and I've tried to play it, but it's like you can't fast forward unless you do a paid version, and there's ads everywhere, so it's like it's annoying. I mean, I understand why they do it because it is free, but I'd rather just play on my PC. And costs remove mutations, yeah. How did the Cyberpunk update work out?
Have
Have you tried it?
I played about an hour in total, and there's still a lot of hilarious and terrible bugs. Like, sometimes cars will explode and then leave behind some of the shapes that are part of the car. Like a door, like a car will explode, and there'll just be like a door and part of the dashboard that's just fixed in the world. They didn't fix that.
What was your New Year's resolution?
I didn't have one. I just thought about it. Buy a house.
Well, you're working on that one.
I've been working on it. I was amazed. So we went and looked at
You have received the
2 or
sorter
3
and the
this
conveyor
week.
belt,
We ended up putting
which
an
can
offer on
achieve
one, but
full
one of them we
automation.
looked at.
Use the conveyor
We were
belt
like,
to
this one
transport
looks
the
pretty
piled up
cute from the
ores
outside.
the
It's in a
mining
nice
machine,
neighborhood. It
and
was
the
like a
sorter
brick
can
house.
deliver the ores from the
And
conveyor
we go in
belt
there,
to the smelter for automatic
and like
smelting.
the smell when you walked in.
When putting a
So there's like a
conveyor
big dog
all
kennel
you
right
need
by
to
the
do
door. So we're
is
like, well, you know,
determine
maybe
the
they've got a
start
couple
point
dogs.
and the end point of it.
But then when
In
like we're
addition,
looking around, there's a
use the
room with
up
the guinea
arrow key
pig.
to lift up one
There's a
level.
room with a
Use
lizard.
the down
There's a
arrow
room
key
with
to
a
drop
snake.
down one level
They
after
have a
the conveyor
giant
belt is lifted.
aquarium
Press keypad
in
0
their
to
living room,
reset
and
the
then
construction height of
on the
the conveyor
walls
belt
there's
from the
pictures of
ground.
like dozens and
If you
dozens
don't
of
want the
kids.
conveyor belt to be attached to the building,
And
you
as
can
we
try
go
holding
through, like we
down
thought it was
shift.
weird when we looked at the listing online because they had pictures of some of the rooms but not all of them. And like all the walls were covered in like dirt and crowns and sticky stuff. And the baseboards were all tore up.
Crowns? What?
Like kids' crowns, like they were coloring on the walls.
XSBT just
Crayons?
subscribed. Thank
Crayon.
you.
Say that word.
Crayon.
Crown.
Crown? It sounded like you said crown, like a king's crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crayon is how they say it in the north.
That's still
Crayon.
wrong. The emphasis on the on.
Crayon.
On is the emphasis. Crayon.
Crown.
Like rayon. Or nylon.
But the house was a nightmare. One of the other things the listing mentioned, it was like, oh, it has like a big enclosed sun porch. And I was like, well, that's amazing. We should see that. There weren't pictures of it though. And the reason there weren't pictures of it was because it was literally full of lumber and tools and just trash, like everywhere. You couldn't even see the floor in it. It was horrific.
Sounds like you could offer well below the list price.
I was like, no way in hell. But it's already gone. It's got a pending offer on it. I was like, who is paying for that? Sounds perfect. I mean, it could be cute if you cleaned it up, but geez.
I saw one on there the other day that was it was a brick house that somebody was trying to flip, and I guess they had started to flip it before the pandemic hit. And so like the entire second floor was gutted, and there was like half a bathroom where they'd started to put it back. And then like one of the rooms downstairs was gutted, and they were just like, we ran out of money. We'll entertain any offer. Like, good lord.
If I see more of that. I'm not looking to make a profit. I'm looking to live there, GM Liquid Media. How much to build a house? I think.
You can't build a house right now. The lumber's too expensive.
Yeah,
It's
it's
twice
way
as
too
expensive
high.
as it should be. 2x4 is like $40.
You built a storage, which
Yeah,
can be used to store
that was
cargo.
something we briefly looked at, and it was
You
like,
can
no,
manually
can't do
store
that right now.
Or use the sorter
There's
to
a
automatically
building
stock
company
the
that was
cargo.
they make like these Lego things. It's literally just plywood and styrofoam, and they go together
The
like
sorter
Lego
is a
blocks.
transportation connection
And
between
that is now
production
cheaper than
facilities.
real
It
wood.
will automatically transport them as long as the
I
sending
believe it.
facility and the receiving facility are bridged.
Maybe give up. I mean, we found one we like, and we put an offer in, but we have to have the inspection done. Assuming nothing is horrendously wrong with this one, we may be moving soon. But I'm trying to be more
You have done
pessimistic this
building
time.
the first power transmission
The
facility.
captain asks
Tesla
about
Tower.
6 outputs.
It can
With
carry
the
out
Gigabyte
short
390,
distance
nope.
wireless
You
power
only get
transmission
4 outputs.
and
Any
expand
4.
the power supply
Even though it's got 6,
power
can't use all 6. It's any
grid
4.
to view the current power
That's NVIDIA.
configuration.
That's the driver.
Wish these power poles were more generous with their radius.
Yeah, it seems like you put a lot of them up. There's probably a lot of visual clutter on the screen. once you get into a bigger factory.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But one thing about this that they really improved on, I guess that first-person game, wasn't there that one that Nubbin's so crazy about?
The one with the giant tick that you can jump on top of?
Yeah, they did it first, but you can layer your conveyors and stuff now.
Oh.
Okay, so what am I doing? Oh, yeah.
I enjoy just exploring in that game. Like, I didn't care about building a factory at all, but running around through all the biomes was really fun.
It's one thing, you know, like earlier we were talking about the enemies. This does lack there's nothing to do except gain energy.
Right.
You can, oh, I'm out of fuel. You can upgrade your little man here. That's actually pretty important. But other than that, it's all about stacking paper. Oh, I'm out of energy. I'll burn this coal. Okay, so my current goal is what? Smelting. Smelting is what I want to do, chat. And there it is. So I'm so bad at planning this out in my head, like, you know, make this something that is not going to be terrible later on.
You built a smelter,
I've never done it correctly.
which can smelt basic materials, such as iron ingots and copper.
That's kind of the joy of like building games,
While you
though,
want
is
to
that
make the
you
raw materials,
you're never getting it right. You always have to redo it. It's like when I play Prison
you need to
Architect, I
use
always find
sorters
something I
and
could have done
conveyor
better.
belts.
I hate this guy so much.
Ryan needs to bump up his mic.
Let me see here. It's turned all the way up. I will move it physically closer as a workaround. Life hack, chat. If your mic is at full volume, move closer to it.
No, you should move farther away and just scream from across the room. Chat!
Alright, I want to make... Wait a minute.
Favorite ramen noodle flavors.
It's funny that
After
you mentioned
selecting
that.
the recipe, you can use the
Oh,
less
I
than
gotta turn this guy off. He's gotta... What the fuck? He's so annoying right now. Gameplay, maybe? Tip level.
Are we talking like basic bitch ramen, like the Maruchan, like 10 cents a pack ramen?
key to copy the recipe,
I can't
and the
stop him,
greater than
chat.
key to
He's too powerful. Oh no.
Wouldn't it be under gameplay, like tooltips? Tooltips off, I would think. Maybe not.
paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
So yeah, I don't know if you remember, but a while back I bought some ramen and it was very expensive. It was called Naked Ramen,
Oh.
and it was very overwhelmingly disappointing. It was terrible. And so I was back at the store and I saw a different brand of expensive ramen. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw good money after bad. I'm going to double down and get this too. And I tried that earlier tonight. And it wasn't that good.
No.
It wasn't as bad, but it wasn't, you know, whatever, like $1.25, $1.50 I paid for it.
The Maruchan ramen, my favorite flavor is it's like a green package. It's like pepper or something like that. It's spicy ramen. It's good. You can't always find it. You have to like catch it at the right time.
Oh, I'm sure you could get a 75 pack from Amazon.
Oh yeah. We buy some other kind of ramen from Sam's Club. can't remember what it is, but it's like it's not soy noodles. It's got some sort of brown sauce on it, and it's really good. It's very salty, and got bits of dried vegetables in it too.
Ramen that's salty. Now that's something I've not heard of.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard that before. It's gonna bother me now. I need to figure out what it is.
I need to do another smelt here.
It's gonna bother me. It's not March on.
I need to run. I need to delete this. This needs to go. I need to run this back here.
El Trinity 2, subscribe to Twitch Prime. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any Asian shops near you guys? Not really. We're talking like an hour drive.
We got plenty of Spanish ones. Are you sure there's no
Yeah.
Asian ones?
Definitely not here in town, I don't think.
Oh, we're out of power.
There are like Asian sections in the grocery store, but they don't usually have like a ton of variety.
So now everything costs blue cubes, and I don't have any blue cubes. So I need to unlock blue cubes. Oh, I already did that.
Don't worry, chat. I'm gonna find it any day now. Maybe
Matrix
it's not
Lab.
ramen, maybe it's some
You
other
can
kind
use
of
it to
noodle.
make super matrices or research technologies that require them to unlock.
Oh, here
The
we go.
super matrices are the source code of the center brain.
It's not
to
actually
maintain
ramen. I
the
was
whole
wrong.
You can upload as many super matrices.
It's
as
like-
the whole
The whole point.
You can
Chow
benefit
mein
to
noodles,
unlock more
teriyaki
actual
beef.
world technologies by operating
But
your
it's
own
like the
world
same
platform.
kind of thing though, where it's like just cheap, not great noodles,
But it's-
they taste really good.
But you just pour the boiling water in. It's that whole thing, right? Or no?
Yeah, exact same thing. Now these come with usually like 2 packets, one with vegetable and one with like the sauce you put on when it's done.
The fancy one that wasn't that great. It came with everything in its own little individual package, including the noodles.
Huh.
You had to unpack everything, mix it all up, then pour your water on it. And the noodles were, instead of that like wavy style, they were just like a little bird nest pattern. I knew something was wrong as soon as I saw that.
This ain't right. Yeah, these teriyaki beef noodles, they're much thicker than standard ramen noodles. Are there reviews on here? There are. Love these. Good and easy to fix. It's a good way to describe them.
Oh, you know what remains to be easy, and my recipes, I wouldn't describe them as good yet, but it's all seasoning related. The actual cook in the air fryer is just incredibly easy. I'm very impressed with that machine so far.
Everyone's talking about air fryers. You guys were talking about it the other day. And then in my friend's Discord, like a bunch of people were talking about it too, and I was like, what the heck?
It is, I will say, the air fryer cult is strong, and they're not as good as the cult will lead you on to believe. But it's so simple, and it's easy to clean. And like I made some meatballs, and meatballs are annoying, because you got to, you get the oil everywhere. You got to turn them, and it's just meatballs are a pain in the ass. But in there, you don't even have to think about it. All right, now we're getting some blue cubes.
This year's Instapot is the air fryer. We do have an Instapot. We used it today. It was a solid purchase. It's a lot quicker to make like soups and stuff in than like
See,
the
now-
comparable crock pot.
I would have told you, don't waste your time with the Instant Pot. Jump right to the air fryer.
We couldn't have made soup in the air fryer.
You can, but it's stupid too. You can make almost anything in the air fryer, and they will put out those recipe books, like the grilled cheese. You have to just get bread and melt butter in the microwave and paint it onto the bread. So why would you ever, in a million
Do
fucking
that.
years, go through that? But they're like, no, air fryer grilled cheese is amazing.
Oldue, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Subscribed with Prime.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
What am I missing? Copper. But I made a ribeye steak in it. It was fine. It wasn't like any better than any other steak I've ever made. Except
But it was
really
easier.
easy to make.
Yeah. Now, would you say yes or no? Could you run an air fryer on an ungrounded outlet?
No.
I don't think so. They're pretty high wattage, I think. Because it really is just, heating some crazy heating elements and blasting the air onto the food.
There's an air fryer lid for the Instant Pot.
Oh, my Instant Pot failed today.
Did it?
Yeah, my jambalaya and the thing that's supposed to keep the steam in
Did not keep the steam in.
did not keep the steam in properly, so it burned the rice, and it's just it was.
Oh.
Sometimes that
Never
little
had-
thing can get stuck. It can get dirty.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm starting to wonder because it's like after every time it's used, like the little strainer thing, like I pop it off and toothbrush it, and it's like, oh, maybe you're not supposed to clean that every time.
The vent, you mean?
Yeah, it's got like a little perforated basket on it, and it just pops off, and so I usually just pop that off and clean it out with a brush and run water under it and then put it back. And now I'm wondering if like I'm not supposed to do that.
Well, you said you're making jambalaya. I know that certain foods are worse for it, and like how much you have in there matters too.
Mm.
So did you max it out?
No, I was only about 2/3 full. It only ever is about 2/3 full. I try not to overfill it.
Okay, so we got steel. Silicon is probably the path to take, right? Or thermal power. Thermal power's nice. I don't want the water pump, but I would love the oil pump. Yeah.
Ernoma sent me a thing and was like, "You need this." I think that's the one I have. No, it is a Ninja, but it's not this model.
All right. Well,
Favorite donut flavors?
Chocolate with sprinkles.
Yeah, chocolate with the filling inside. That's good too.
I like mini sweets.
Oh yeah, it is an Instant Pot. You're right. Because I'm looking through these models and it's like none of these look exactly the same, but they look all similar. Yeah, it's not one of these.
I would rather have a donut without too much. I would like, for a while, Meyer was making these donuts that they would just barely glaze. And I was like, wow, Meyer has got it figured out. And then I went back later and got some. And I think it was just somebody who was stingy with the glaze for a couple of weeks because they were back to being shitty.
Mm.
You know what? I didn't see it all this year. I think the COVID, one of the casualties of the COVID were the punchkis. Did you guys see them at all?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. I usually buy those in the spring, and I did not this past year.
Yeah, we're going in. Maybe they're just like, because it seemed like they'd expanded their operation. Because for a while there, I mean, it's just supposed to be February, right, or sometime around there.
Usually it's like, yeah, the very start of Lent and that whole like season.
No, I think it's before Lent because you use up everything in your pantry that you might be tempted to eat during Lent. That's what those are supposed to be. Anyway, maybe we'll see them, but I think that they're probably not doing it for whatever reason. Maybe like because it was a smaller bakery, the delivery people.
Maybe they're being hoarded worse than toilet paper.
It could be.
I stopped shopping at Meijer and Walmart.
I do, now that I live here, I make a lot more Kroger trips.
Yeah. I prefer Kroger, but it's all the way across town from where I live right now.
Yeah, and that parking lot is a pain in the ass. Also, I don't know what Kroger is doing. Whoever's in charge of their parking lot maintenance is like, they're on a hair trigger. They're paranoid. Because it can just rain lightly and they will salt the fuck out of that parking lot.
I wish we had a Whole Foods here. We usually do Meijer if we just need something fast, like just run in and grab a gallon of milk or something. But we try to do like one big trip every like 2 months or so to Sam's Club.
When you say run in and grab a gallon of milk, I assume you're not paying.
Yeah, we just club the old lady at the front on our way out, and then just run out with the milk. She's mid welcome, and then she just gets hit, ka-chunk, in the back of the head. We run out.
I know I should automate some of this, but I just kind of want to skip ahead and get to the fucking oil. I was at Meijer the other day, and they didn't have very many lanes open, and people were backed up all the way into the clothing section there.
Yeah.
And it was just a fucking, a madhouse. People milling around. And I gotta say, some of their new cashiers are kind of garbage. And they're really just, taking their time. Like that guy the other day, he didn't even ring up those cat foods individually. Guy fucked his inventory. And then I look back at the little customer service thing, and there's like 6 of them.
Just standing around.
Blue shirts, standing in a circle, holding clipboards. Just having a good time, laughing it up.
God, that used to piss me off when I worked at Kroger.
Everybody else died so rapidly that they were just taking whoever was applying for a job.
Well, no, so when I worked at a grocery store, there'd be times where you just get really busy, and like you can't always predict when that's going to happen. And a lot of times, like our managers or things like that, supervisors would come down and they would help bag groceries. Well, one time we were so swamped, like we desperately just needed more check lanes open, and we had a couple available. And so one of the managers was bagging for me, and I turned and looked at her, and I was like, I can bag this. Can you open up another check lane? And she looked at me, and she's like, I don't know how. And I was like, how are you running this place, and you don't know how to run a check lane? I was like in high school, and I was like, I can run a check lane.
It would not be the first time that Kristen would think this thought throughout her many professions.
Yeah. Ugh, that woman was probably like in her 50s, and I was like, how many years have you worked at this grocery store and you don't know how to run a check lane?
Oh, we need power, but we'll have it. We'll have it as soon as we have this oil. I wonder if there's something that's going to block me from getting the oil refinery. I kind of feel like there is that I forgot. Alright, now we're collecting plates. It's important. That's a critical primary resource that's solved. Now we need to collect these plates.
Can you eventually upgrade your suit to go faster?
Yes. You can also fly.
Ooh.
But it does burn the fuel. You always have that thought in the back of your mind. You're thinking, Jesus, I'm spending so much money on this fuel just for a little bit more fun and convenience. You know, like I'm going to feel in a year or so. For the rest of my life, probably. You can also get more little robots. Alright, so we got that research. What was that research? Right. Research. It's locked. Why is it locked? Is it because this? I could get the coal, but I really, you know what? I should just get the coal. I should just play the game the way it was intended to be played.
Drunk or?
I think this probably wouldn't be much fun drunk.
That one time that we did drunk news, I think last year, where I played Stellaris afterwards. It was very difficult to play Stellaris after having had that much alcohol.
Hard to make strategically sound decisions.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know, I mean, because humanity is what it is, and it's a perfect sort of, it's our brilliance versus our failures to say that, is there any question at all in your mind that there will be a drunk spaceship driver soon after we start regularly driving spaceships?
Almost certainly.
And there'll be a big, and it's like, oh, everybody remember the day the moon colony blew up because of the hydrogen tanks.
It's a day that'll live in infamy.
Out of conveyors. Fuel's doing well. Just burning these leaves. One thing I don't like about this UI is like, oh, you can't build this, and then you have to go here and then build it. Then you have to select it again. Guess it makes sense. I don't know. Power grid is severely underpowered. huge issues right now, but that's okay.
Is that why they're all blinking at you angrily?
Yeah, the little... Whenever you see the power symbol, it means they're not
Yeah.
getting power. It's going a lot slower than I would like. But we will solve our power problem temporarily. With some coal. Because, Krista, I don't know if you know this, but it does keep the lights on.
It does. I've read that on a number of license plates and bumper stickers in this area.
It's nice, clean coal.
Ignore all the places on the trails where you can't drink the water. That's fine.
It's only a little bit radioactive.
I'm wondering, you know, given the what's going to happen soon, should we just go ahead and put something about clean energy on our website?
Okay.
Just say that we're into that.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We can put a geothermal station in the second subbase.
Would the building be a good candidate for solar eventually? With the
Yeah,
roof?
Yeah, it's like a
actually,
flat roof.
the local people really wanted to put solar up there, but it was kind of pricey.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like when I've looked at it, it's just like I just can't justify that. If they had more incentives to make that cheaper, I would be all about it. But like, it's just a big expense.
Well, it's a big expense, and then when you need to put a new roof on, it's sort of hard.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, it's kind of easy because it's kind of flat. You just unroll a new roof and you're done.
What do you think of the game? I was thinking about picking it up.
I've been playing it for, you know, probably like the last... Well, I went to sleep, but if you don't count the sleep, probably for about 12 hours. It's Factorio. You like Factorio? There's really nothing that should surprise you if you like Factorio. There's just more of it, because you can go into space eventually. I haven't done a whole lot of the space part yet. As far as I can understand, what the space part does is you'll start at a new planet, but you'll have the energy, and you'll be able to transfer goods. So you can then more rapidly assimilate more and more planets. Why did I come up? Oh yeah. That's some of these.
Who are the enemies? Your own limitations.
Yeah, there's no enemies. The mech stands unopposed in this world. In fact, I think we are the legal owners of this entire system. More than a system. What is the...
I'm really surprised, like, the mech doesn't, like, piss off the hippos or something. That would be an interesting mechanic. A hippo comes up and bites your leg off.
Is this a galaxy, I guess? I don't know what this
Yeah,
is.
at the beginning, the AI was like, you'll get used to their laws of physics soon enough, implying that they're extra-dimensional.
I think he was talking about flying the spaceships, because it's Newtonian. You have to deal with the orbits and stuff. For a while, I was flying around, and I was like, Jesus, am I ever going to get this planet? But I didn't realize that you have to absorb energy through the solar cell and then keep accelerating the entire time. Okay, so we've got our coal. Oh, but that doesn't help us yet because we need the... What am I researching?
Gardening, right?
That doesn't help me with my current predicament. No, there's no gardening. Just cutting down trees, if that's, you know, you could call that gardening, I guess. The guy doesn't eat. I guess because there's no health system. Well, let's just keep crafting these.
The game is not multiplayer.
I hope it will be. I mean, we've clearly seen that it can be.
Yeah.
You know, if these guys have trouble with the netcode, you know who they could reach out to? Factorio team. Oh, you know what I'm forgetting? I can cook these myself. Okay, so we got those. Now we need to start thinking about moving our plate lines toward each other. Maybe we'll take the plate lines and the coal line over here and set up. Yeah, we could probably do it here in the middle, I think, right?
Will it get crowded as you have to move lines out, though?
Oh, it's going to be a disaster. No question. But I really, really, really want to start getting... I think I'm further away from oil than I think. Because oil is a big game changer in terms of your energy. Obviously. Okay, that gets me that. Fluid encapsulation. Been dreaming of it for so long. I see a fluid, first thing I think about is I want to encapsulate that. Okay, so.
Just like your suit, full of liquid.
My suit.
Yeah, your suit's full of liquid. Your mecha.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a business suit.
No.
Why would a suit be full of liquid? Okay, can I make water pump? Oh, no, I'm not doing oil. I'm doing coal. And out of magnets. There is music. Did I turn the music off?
I don't know. I don't have the sound up. They said, I hear music.
Thermal power. Now, get this nice, clean thermal power building. And put that right there.
A thermal power station. Such power facilities need to consume chemical energy fuels. If you want it to generate continuous and stable power, you need to ensure a sufficient fuel supply at all times.
Alright, now we need oil refinery and oil extractor is what I'm dreaming of.
Oh, I'm so ready for it to be spring.
Isn't that kind of an issue if it goes to spring and you're still homeless?
I mean, technically, yes. How will we start our garden?
You should just find a house that you're thinking of buying and start gardening now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got one that we like, and we have to do the inspection now. But it does seem like maybe bad form to just start tearing up the yard before everything's final.
I think they would appreciate not only your assertiveness, but also how much you want that house and how much you're going to respect it.
Do guerrilla gardening. I've considered that before. The issue is the area I live in currently is any places that are open enough where you could do that are also right next to roads. Like fairly busy roads. And it's like, if you grew anything there, like in terms of food, would you be able to eat it? If it's right next to a busy road?
I don't think carbon monoxide builds up in plants.
Still waiting for intense snow. Kentucky, sometimes we get snow in February, but not super often. It's usually like our idea of a rough snow is a few inches.
We've probably had this discussion before, but what exactly is a guerrilla gardener?
That's someone, instead of like planting on land you own, you just find like a bare patch of land somewhere that's not either like owned by the city or it's just abandoned, and then you put in flowers or something.
Why?
To beautify your community. Do you have a community garden? Not that I'm aware of. Our town does do like those boxes that pop up like outside of people's homes and stuff. They're like, take something you need, leave something someone else might need, or like they'll do book drives like that too for kids. But they don't do any community gardening that I'm aware of.
I'm gonna go around the back. It's expensive. Maybe too expensive.
Oh.
So what that made me think of is I've been watching that Soft White Underbelly channel, and they were explaining, one of the pimps was explaining how there are all different kinds of pimps. And he was a smooth-talking pimp. He didn't like to use violence against his girls, but there's also the gorilla pimp. Now, I don't know, and I am desperate to find out. Is it G-U-E-R or G-O-R? Because they would both fit.
They both would, yeah. If your apartment screws you over on your deposit, throw mint and marigold seeds all over the property. We do grow mint in a container right now. That would be an easy transplant. Though that doesn't really screw over my landlord so much as the person who's hired to mow the lawn.
Oh, this one's expensive. Alright, we gotta get started on our blue automation. Right, so what do I want? I want plates.
Mint is stupid invasive, yeah. I saw a tip today. I was watching gardening videos, and I saw someone. I was trying to find out about like how you could do a year-round herb garden, like what plants would grow in Zone 6 year-round. And one of the things they recommended was mint. But instead of planting it directly in the ground, they just planted it in the container it came in the ground, and then covered it up with dirt. So it'll still spread out and give you a nice ground cover, but it doesn't choke out everything else it's in a bed with. And
I don't think I could respect it if it didn't.
Didn't choke out everything else. Well, I'm thinking like doing rosemary, sage, and then mint. And I was thinking about maybe oregano too. I don't know that oregano will recover year to year here. I don't know that Zone 6 is warm enough.
I've been buying a lot of spices because I don't, my spice collection is not that great. and these air fryer recipes, you know, there's a lot of spicing going on. That shit is crazy expensive.
Yeah, if you can grow it yourself, and most of them are pretty easy to grow. Like, if you can just do it yourself, 10 out of 10.
I can't remember what was I getting. It was just cinnamon was bad.
Yeah.
But was it maybe paprika?
Depending on what kind you get, that can be pretty pricey. Like, I was trying to find, I think it was called Hungarian paprika. Once for like a stew I was making, and it was like double the price of regular. I think I ended up using regular. Just get a greenhouse, that's also possible.
Okay, chat. We need to.
You can now click the planet thumbnail button in the lower left corner
Oh,
of
look
the
at
screen,
you talking.
or press the
Every
N key
time.
to try the planet view mode.
Planet view mode. Oh yeah. Oh,
In
look
the
at my
planet
little
view
industry.
Mode, you can hold down the middle mouse button drag.
Oh, I wouldn't have done
Rotate
that if
the
I would have
angle
known it
of
would
view,
make you talking.
and hold down the
Piece of
right
shit.
mouse button. Drag to roll the angle of view. Press N key to point
Okay,
to the
so what do we
front
got to
to
do?
the
We
north.
have to smelt. Oh, we've got to smelt magnets. Oh, shit. All right, we'll smelt
If you get-
magnets out of this side of it.
If you get land, we'll try hugelkultur. I'm not super familiar with that. I think the plan right now would be to have
What was it?
some
kinda-
raised
You kind of muttered through it there. What was it? Culture?
hugelkultur. It's like basically, from what I understand, it's kind of like doing raised beds, but you put like organic matter underneath. We want to do some raised beds for like our annual plantings, like tomatoes and peppers and that kind of thing. But I would like to plant a lot of native plants, if at all possible. And, you know, attract bees and pollinators, because that was a real problem this past summer. I mean,
What's
we were
gonna
growing on a
happen-
patio. But
What's gonna happen if you get there and you get deep into all this shit and you're like, you know what? This isn't as much fun as I thought it would be.
have you bought a new iPad yet? No, mine works fine.
W217 Joel McKinney. I think I missed the sub. I'm sorry. It was XX Pro Gamer Bashar Al Assad XX. Sorry about that. Thank you both. Twitch is being weird tonight.
Yeah.
All right, we got our magnets. So we need to put the magnets and the copper in one builder, and the copper and the iron plates in another builder. And we should always be building blue cubes. Okay, so let's see. Assemblers, let's put one. We will run the magnets across the map over here. But I need 2 sources of iron plate.
Had to hide my antennas from random HOAs for 2 houses now. The place we're looking at does not have an HOA. That was actually a deal breaker.
What kind of antenna breaks that?
I don't know. He just said he had to hide his antennas. Blah, blah, blah.
We had
Sometimes I
a,
don't get a lot of satellite dishes.
yeah, there was a we were in an apartment that was like that, but you know, we had the hacked cards, so it was like, oh, we got to use this, and we just mounted it to a big piece of cinder block, and we take it out in the morning and bring it back in at night, and we just we drew it in chalk, and then later we like chiseled out the square that was the perfect reception square for it. So we didn't have to worry about that every day.
HOAs are the worst. Agreed. It is hard to find non-HOA neighborhoods in this area.
Okay, so now we're going to have 2 lines of stored copper. So we'll take this one out this way. That's an annoying sound when you don't have the thing. Oh boy.
Krista, what is Rue doing right now? She is laying in her bed. She got lots of treats today. She got lots of chicken scraps. Not all HOers are terrible, but that's me being optimistic because most are absolute shit. All it takes is like one bad person moving in and then deciding they want to be on the HOA. It's just not something I can risk.
Well, it's like government. It attracts the worst kind of
Yeah.
just the dregs of humanity. Pick up some plates. Oh, actually, I've got plenty of plates. Oh, I'm out of energy.
Oh, refuel. Can you run out of energy and then not get to a tree?
You just can't do certain things when you're out of energy. I don't think it will actually just like shut you down.
That'd be hilarious. Are you building Rue a doghouse? Rue lives in the house. Rue is a princess, and she will always be an inside dog.
Toast has been spending so much time in the cat room, and he's never done that. I don't know what has gotten into him.
Is he feeling sick, or is he just acting normal but just wanting to hang out in there?
I mean, that's obviously the first thing that came to my mind, because, you know, I realize we're so rigid in our schedule at this point that I'm noticing that he's in a different room. But he seems fine. I mean, he's eating good, and he still seems to enjoy his pets, and I don't see him, like, you know, doing any other weird activities. And they romp around all fucking day. I don't understand how people who have just one cat, I guarantee your cats are not having fun, because my cats don't seem to have fun unless things are
They're
being
getting
destroyed.
into shit. Yeah.
And just like really, really going hard. Okay. 2 lines
As
of copper.
an EU chard, what is the benefit of an HOA? In theory, it like means that everyone is keeping the front of their house nice. People aren't leaving their trash cans out.
Well, it's people,
That kind of thing, but
it can be miserable living near some people.
yeah, and it's supposed to protect against people who will trash the front of their house and then make everyone's house look bad, but in reality, I think it's more just a control thing.
Or, you know, it doesn't have to be that, because it would be just as terrifying to some people if your door was pink.
Yeah.
And those
See,
are
and
the
like I
kind of
want to paint
people-
my door a weird color, and I don't want someone telling me no.
Yeah, but they, in their mind, it's like, oh my god, this person's just not being reasonable. Why would you want a blue door? Okay, so here's where we're going to construct. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's wrong. Delete. You can hold this down, kind of. It kind of works when you hold it down, but not really. It's because the mech moves erratically.
Your dude looks confused. Oh, there it goes.
Okay, so we need to get this over there. So let's go ahead and move this one up. You know what? Let's loop this one around the back. Again, expensive, but cleaner.
Everyone's talking about like the nanny state. That's not the nanny state. That's just something you opt into. So why would you opt in?
Well, it's hard to find a place because, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
most people, when they're looking for a house, the big consideration is nothing other than how close am I to my job. And we're out of conveyors. I was
we
amazed
actually-
that you know the bigger city nearby.
Yeah.
I don't go there that often, and I was looking at to see where an address was. I was looking at the Google map, and there's just whole swaths of that place. I was like, oh, that was wilderness not that long ago.
Yeah,
And
it's really
just
expanded.
a sea of little cookie cutter houses.
The place we're looking at is pretty far. Well, like not crazy far outside of town, but like farther out of town than we probably would have thought about maybe even a year ago. But like just knowing we don't have the HOA and we have a little more space, I think is worth it. Yeah, I forgot you have to pay to be in the HOA too, which is like, that seems like extra BS. I guess, I mean, sometimes, like, depending on the neighborhood, they do have things like a community pool. But so often it's like, where does that money go? Like, do you just put plants in the front signage once a year? Like, come on.
Well, they usually have. They'll do little programs that only benefits the people who are super, into that little.
That
scene.
world, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I want to make these. Wait, no, I want to make these. Yes. Excellent. Right, so let's get these built. Just put a bunch of those. Because we always need them. We should buy those at Costco because we always need extra.
In condos, HOAs also provide internet, electricity. Well, yeah, but around here, that's not a thing. Like,
That
you're
probably
still paying all your bills, but you also just have this other random one that doesn't give you any tangible benefit.
I'm sure there's some like that around here, but that's almost always a worse deal too.
Buy a hill, dig your house into the hill, and celebrate your 11th birthday.
Is that at Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Yeah, Bilbo, it was 11th birthday.
You say that with such, like,
How could you not know?
what the fuck is wrong with you? Of course it is.
How much is an HOA? I've seen them anywhere from like $10 a month, and then some of them when we were looking at houses, like before we saw it had an HOA, you'd look down at the listing and it'd be like HOA. What was one that I saw? It was like $250 a year. I was like, for what?
Now they probably do something for that. Also, what they'll do is sometimes those places have like little community centers or just like nice areas for people to go, like little park kind of things, and they'll maintain those. But then it's like you're probably not allowed to take your dog,
Yeah.
or you have to like reserve it 6 weeks in advance, and as long as somebody's done that, then you can't go there. Okay, so there's our.
Or for ultimate like insult to injury, you might have to like book it and pay money to book it. How much does healthcare cost for Rue? Usually she just gets one big round of shots once a year. Like all her boosters and stuff, and then we do flea and tick prevention. I'd say like probably a few hundred. Counting the flea and tick. You pay $140 a month for an HOA? Damn. Where do you live? I mean, if you feel comfortable telling us. That's really high for around here. But Kentucky also has a really low cost of living, so most people would probably throw a fit if their HOA fee was that high. Unless you're like super rich. Think of all the tendies you could feed to Rue instead of wasting on HOA. Wow. What a racket. Everyone's like listing all these prices and they're crazy to me. Oh, this guy's in California. Okay. I could see that for California. Can't you just say no thanks and not pay? So here's the other thing with that. When you buy the house, like if you don't pay the HOA fee, like that's in your contract when you buy the house. Like you have to pay it. Just like you have to pay the bank.
Well, you agree to it.
Yeah. Like you can't buy the house unless you agree to do the HOA thing.
I mean, it's shitty, but it's not like people, it's not like they don't warn you about it.
Oh, can you go up? Are you like vertically building right now? Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that more expensive?
Oh,
I bet it is.
I screwed that up badly. Oh, what has happened here? What have I done?
Our European viewers are confused. Does HOA have like a percentage thing with the house value? I don't know how they like determine the cost. Because like I said, 140 a month here would not fly unless you were in like a really fancy area.
Everybody pays the same HOA. It doesn't matter what the house costs. It might change over time. Why does it keep going up? Oh, I'm out of them. That's the problem.
Oh.
I don't even know what's supporting that. It doesn't make any sense. I guess it's super rigid. Also, where's the motor?
If you put something on there right now, would it just like fall off?
No, it doesn't. The white bumpers
no
stop
physics.
it. Now, I think what I want to do, actually, is go ahead and bring this over here. And then go up one with it. Oh, oops. I took that too far. Thinking in more dimensions is beyond my capacity. What does that say? Oh, the font is so small. I'm too far away.
You must be horizontal when turning. Must be horizontal when turning.
Oh, okay. I got it. I see what they're saying.
I also had to lean in to read it.
What they're telling me is... Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, so up one. All right. Make your turn, then go up. Perfect. And then... Will this actually work? Oh my god, it does. So we'll feed that one into the top. Why aren't you doing anything? It's because of our magnets. They're not being served.
Blind streamers, well, we are. Also, Joel McKinney, thanks for the bits.
Why are we blind? Oh, because we couldn't read.
Because we couldn't read that thing.
Well, I'm on the couch. I'm far away. I'm not sitting at my desk. They need UI scaling in these games. I don't know what they're thinking.
They're thinking, this is a young man's game.
I wonder what the demographic is. I bet older guys like this.
Yeah, I feel like if I showed this game to some of my younger cousins, they would not be into it. When do I start shooting dudes? What
In
is
the
the point of
game?
this game? To automate all your stuff, just like Factorio. Gain more energy. Expand across the universe.
Now, will it automatically feed these? It does. It moves them vertically automatically. That's fantastic. So now we have blue automation. It's a beautiful thing. Is it the most efficient layout? Yes.
Not
it
really.
is. No, it absolutely is. I mean, how are you going to make this better? It's visually appealing.
Everything's not blinking, begging for power.
You know what else you can do? Here, chat, let me just blow your fucking mind. I mean, it probably won't blow your mind as much, considering I have to do this step before we get there.
Hit my mic, sorry.
And what are we going to get out of this? Oh, it's time to go to oil. I'm ready for oil.
Oh,
Might be time to invest in some oil. I think the prices are going to increase.
chat. Anyone in chat, are they a wood stover? Tell me pros and cons.
So this dude I'm watching on YouTube, Krista, he is wood stoving in his van.
I've seen some people do that. I like the idea of a wood stove just as an alternative heat source. Like, if there was ever like an ice storm like that one that happened when I was a kid, we would have a way to keep the house warm, or at least a room warm. But the house we're looking at right now doesn't have one, but it would have a space where we could put one. Yes, best heat.
Okay, so right, we just need 2 more blues. We're not feeding
first
this
up.
enough.
Yeah, like, we wouldn't use it as primary heat, but it would be nice as, like, just a, you know, ambiance or, again, emergency. Splitting wood every day kind of stinks, yeah.
But think of the
that's
upper
cool.
body strength, Krista.
Right.
You
Vast majority of insurance will not insure your house with a wood stove. That's a good point.
you're really gonna have to get serious about the 2021 World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, I really weakened out. How would Rue feel about a wood stove? She'd probably love it. We have a little space heater that we keep on down in our office, and she likes to lay in front of it.
When we had those really cold days and the HVAC was struggling, I turned on the baseboard heat that's in the cat's room. They really like that.
You should get them like a little heated bed that they can sleep on.
Yeah, I have a couple of those on my Amazon wish list. Some of them are like electric blankets, you know. But some are
Yeah.
passive. I don't know exactly how that's supposed to work.
Ooh, just getting started. Yeah, this is... How long have you been playing, would you say, at this point? Like 12 hours?
Not this game.
Well, not this game, but like just playing this game in general, like the title.
Since yesterday evening at some point. I went to sleep at probably... I went to sleep really late. I hadn't stayed up that late before. I probably went to sleep at like 3.
Wow.
And then the dumb cats woke me up at 8:30, and I went right back to it. Okay,
No issues with insurance? I don't know. That's like probably a down the road project, but something I had considered.
Chemical plant is nice. Not right now. Definitely don't need that because I've never even used it. I think that unlocks more stuff down the road. Let's just, you know what? Let's get. Or what is this? Motors. That was cheap. Let's get a cheap one. Okay, so we're outpacing that by quite a bit at this point. Now, can I make... yes, I can make an oil refinery and an extractor.
Where does oil come from in this universe?
Oh, I gotta have steel. Well, it comes from the ground, Kristen.
But I mean, like, what's the resource look like? Or can you just put it anywhere and it'll suck oil out?
Oh, you know what I have to do? I'm glad you pointed
I don't
that
know.
out because you actually have to upgrade this. Oh, this is super cheap though. Actually, is it possible to rearrange these?
Oil nodes look like black stumps. Is there one?
But this research will put tooltips over all the resources.
Oh, okay. Isn't
should-
there one to the left of your screen there? Like, zoom out. Based on what the chat said.
Over
Is there
here
one
somewhere?
way over there? Is that what I'm seeing?
Is it this thing?
No, keep going.
There it is.
Okay, yeah.
Turns out I gotta have steel though. Actually, you know what? Let's burn this one. Can I stop this? Yes. And then let's get steel. No, that's expensive.
You have to build rockets and start polluting new planets. This one's cramped already. Maybe the other planets are more dangerous. Maybe the starter planet doesn't have any mobs on it.
I got the one that was made of lava, but there was nothing else there. But yeah, the pollution, I mean, really the whole idea is to collect the star's power. So I think that's pretty green, I guess, right? Okay, so that...
You have unlocked the universe exploration. Now you can
There
click
we
the
go.
details display button in the lower right corner of the screen to open real-time distribution
So there's our
details
oil.
of the ore veins.
We got more iron over there. I also need my thrusters. I'm not burning very much fuel at all. I wonder, I guess you burn more fuel as you upgrade your mech. Because in the other game, I was burning it fairly quickly. I was also flying, I guess. It's weird how making a giant robot not fall to the ground eats a lot of fuel. Okay, so we're building the blue. We need to... Oh, you know what we can do, chat? We can get some rock production going on here. Overlook this. And that's a mistake. Oh, is there any exciting events coming up in the rest of this month?
My home inspection. That's it. No, I don't think so.
Are you inviting all of us to come along?
Yeah, you can all... Well, you can listen to his amazing accent.
Yeah. Turned into a video.
He is extremely thorough, though. We hired him a second time for this one. He did a good job. Kept us from buying a lemon.
Yeah, I felt the same way. You know, it's one of the few times I've turned over that amount of money and, you know, for service and thought to myself, yeah, that was well spent.
Yeah. Yeah, the report he gave us was like, there were photos and like written descriptions of everything. And I was like, how? Like, every time I've called him, like, it's always just him. Like, does he not have like a secretary or like someone else who works with him?
He mentioned his wife, but I don't know if she actually works in the business.
Because damn, it must take forever to write those reports up, but he did a really good job.
But if he does 2 a day, because if you think about it, what are his costs?
I learned this, that it varies depending on the house, the size of the home.
No, what are his costs? That's your cost.
Oh yeah, probably just like what, fuel, and then anytime you need to
Flashlight,
replace.
clipboard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he goes to training and shit like that because he seems to know what he's doing, but still.
He also has those plug things, but they're like $10.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably a
That's
couple ladders, yeah.
almost pure profit. He's got those book. Did he give you a book?
Yeah, he did. It was like the guide to your home. It was really thick though.
I was like, eh. But also, I don't know if you've looked through it yet, but he like goes in there and fills out stuff specific to your place.
Oh, I didn't look at that. I mean, we didn't buy that one, but what if you find out he's a cocaine addict and you're providing him the means to support his habit? Listen, the man does great work.
I don't.
It's also
honestly,
hilarious listening to him struggling not to swear.
Did he not? Because I don't know what it was about me, but he just. I guess he felt
knew.
comfortable. He started dropping f-bombs almost immediately.
He said shit a couple times, but like he didn't drop the F-bomb.
It's probably because you were a couple.
Yeah, maybe he was like, I can't use my normal language around these people. Did Krista end up getting a place? Not yet. We are still in the inspection period. We found a second one that we really like, and are hoping it works out.
Wendell, it sounds like you were talking to us through a pillow.
Lane Igrek just subscribed to Twitch Prime.
There you
Oh,
go.
I didn't
Thank
get that. Oh, it was way back. Sorry. I had to scroll back up.
What was it, Lane and Greg?
It's Grolic. It's the Grolic verse. Oh, congrats on finding a second one. Yeah, we really like this one. This one has a lot more land, which is exciting.
I was watching that Class Action Park movie about the West Virginia Death Water Park, and some of the footage that they had of that place, the only surviving footage, way back in the early days of MTV, they did a spring break there. And they have footage of Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell at the water park that killed people. Just children. So long ago. Okay, so in this one we want to make. We want to make. Oh. I don't have any recipes for this. Well, I guess that's good infrastructure for later on.
Can you ride the conveyor belts like you can in Factorio?
No, you just click through them.
This game's trash. Just close it.
Even when they're like, see these multi-level ones, you just sort of zoom through them. That's better, to be honest. I'm not sure one of those conveyor belts would carry this mech's weight. For
Maybe
some
not the
reason,
one you built.
We're not building these components. Why? Magnets. There's a problem on the magnet line.
How do they work?
So what do we got here? Oh! This is not enough. It's not feeding fast enough. Well,
Huh.
what am I going to do about this?
I don't know.
Okay, here's what we'll do.
Someone says MK2 sorters yet? Question mark. I don't know what that means.
They're faster.
Ah.
Not yet, though.
Turn the belt 90 and use 2 inputs. Chat's got ideas.
They're all wrong. The correct solution, chat, since this is a core resource, is you go ahead and you build the second drill. You spend money to make money. You put that in place.
And then immediately overload your electric.
Currently, it has no power, obviously. I wish one of these games would have an upgrade where it was like Ditch Witch, and then you just, all your power's underground from then on. You don't think about it.
But if you need to move it, wouldn't that be problematic?
Just leave it buried. Just run a new line. I mean, it's not like we're saving the environment here. Once we're done with this planet, we're never coming back. So we'll go out here, and then we'll immediately go up to. We'll get right on top of that belt. Perfect. And run it all the way over there. Boom. And then, oh, look at that, chat. Problems, solutions, commerce. I don't know about capitalism because there's really no market here. It's just one lone individual raping a planet.
You're kind of the Galactus of this game.
So now we have blue production back in the works. We still need 22 cubes. Oh, you know what? Why are we not making our own cubes in our easy bake oven? Oh, you know what my next project's going to be? Air fryer bacon. You can make bacon in that fucker. Think about how convenient that is.
I don't know hardly anything about an air fryer, but I have heard that.
Basically anything that you would deep fry, you can do that instead. I was thinking about, it's like, what deep fried items do I want? And I was like, ooh, falafel. But there's a lot of like food processor shit that you got to do there, and so I immediately tapped out of that one.
How is the Middle Eastern place downtown? The restaurant, is it still functioning?
Yeah, he's got
Super angry.
He's got the second room closed off, but you can still take out and stuff, I guess. I swear, the parking there, I would probably get that twice a month, if not every week, if it wasn't for the shitty parking.
Yeah, it is a
So,
nightmare.
He complained so loudly that, you know how there's a city parking lot to the right? You can pull in there after hours and it's totally okay. It's super close parking and nobody ever parks there.
Wait, is it the city parking? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
kind of like an alley in between there. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, there's like 8 spots there, but it also connects to a parking lot behind there. So you can always find a place to park there.
Steel smelting. Okay, so now... Oh, now I gotta start making steel. Maybe our steel production will be up here.
Remember that time we had the meeting at the Middle Eastern restaurant?
Was that
Oh,
the...
Weird meeting.
Like the programmer dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
don't
designer guy
think-
that was with him wasn't too bad, but the other guy was kind of.
If it makes you guys feel any better, I don't think they're in business anymore.
Well, I mean, that doesn't really make me feel better, but.
It kind of does me.
That was weird. Weird lunch.
I don't know what their game was to this day. They were after something, but I have no idea what.
Yeah, me either. I thought it was maybe free labor, but maybe we were too smart. I don't know. Or too stupid.
Or maybe they were just sizing up competition?
Yeah, it could have been that. Although, I mean, maybe, but not really. I mean, we could have worked together more effectively.
Yeah, the programming culture is exhausting. Thankfully, not super strong around here, though it seems like if you were in a place like in California, maybe you would see it more often.
I think those kinds of guys are particularly good at getting money for projects because they speak the same language as those venture capital douchebags.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, totally, we're on the same page here, bro.
So, a programmer is a programmer, but instead of just being focused on like the nerdery that is programming, I guess you could say they have people skills. That's like a flattering way of putting
It's
it.
like
But
a preppy, yeah. It's
Yeah,
not,
but like, it's not about the programming for them.
and they're all about, you know, like putting the stickers on shit and rocking the open source logos. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it's always a new framework every other month that they, oh, you're using React? Well, now I use this other thing. And it's like, oh, good grief,
And they
dude.
want to tell you about it. They want to tell you about that the same way they want to tell you how much they benched. It's like that kind of vibe.
They're also not super good at thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Okay, this is our steel production. So let's go directly into a box. You always want to go into a box, chat. If you've got
Too many frameworks.
If you got a stream coming out, you want to put it in a box.
Yeah, they're definitely more salesmen. And there's nothing wrong with experimenting with new frameworks and like things like that, but it's just when it's literally every other month, it's like, oh, you're still using that? Bro, you got to get on this other thing. And I'm like, how do you even get proficient in any of these?
But see,
With
you're
your mentality of like just switching every month.
you're directly insulting a lot of people in chat, because I mean, if you looked at the fucking forum,
Nah.
they're all about that shit. And they want to talk about it ad nauseum.
Gotta use what's right for the project. Programming hipster, I guess, yeah. It's a hard thing to know until you've seen it.
Well, these guys, here's the trait, chat, that I think would probably tip it off. These dudes, after the lunch, they're like, yeah, you guys totally need to hook up with us and play some frisbee golf.
And it's like, have you looked at anybody at this table? Do any of us look like we have any athletic skill?
Even if I did, I wouldn't choose frisbee golf. Okay, we got our box. Now it's time to smelt.
Very picky beer drinkers. There was no alcohol at this lunch, but I'm sure if that place served it, they probably would have gotten one.
Not if it was Bud Light. But if it had been a North Vietnamese IPA.
Absolutely, gotta try that. OMG that and like rock climbing, it's true. But not like normal rock climbing, it's gotta be some sort of special nonsense.
You ever see the videos of, all these mom and pop owned gyms and shit like that have those rock climbing walls? And some of them have cats who will climb the wall regularly. I love those videos. Steve.
I've never seen that.
They're amazingly good at it. You would never expect it.
It's called bouldering and it's awesome.
This takes plates. It doesn't take raw ore. Okay, well then let's not build that. Let's build plates.
I feel better now, like rock climbing, but normal rock climbing.
I don't understand. How do you condition yourself for rock climbing? And you can't just start rock climbing. Your grip and your arm strength would not take care of you.
I guess you'd have to just do smaller climbs, I guess. Also, it seems like a really expensive hobby to get into.
No, it's not about how long the climb is. It's about the verticality of it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, maybe you just do easier ones first and then get better and better.
Thanks, XBST.
We all have a bit of programmer inside. It's true.
Sometimes I get excited about stuff, but even I'm not that insufferable, I hope.
I'm going to smelt
No.
right into another smelter. Just baby bird right out of this smelter into the other smelter.
I think the difference is you don't change month to month. Like, you harp on something for a long time. Like, you're dedicated to one framework for a long time.
We will make it work somehow.
Oh, this power situation.
Frisbee golf's for the unathletic? I don't know. People, maybe this is a Midwest thing, but like people at my school took Frisbee golf very seriously. People followed Frisbee golf more than they followed our football team.
I didn't get
Probably
the
our football team's
impression.
garbage, but
I didn't get the impression that those guys were particularly athletic.
Well, I mean, it was probably like everything else where it's just. I mean, some of the stuff they were talking about, it's like it's pretty clear that you only have a surface level understanding of this, and you're just discovering it. And I'm glad that you're excited, but it's not like that. And so, like Frisbee golf is like the sports equivalent of that.
But yeah, I bet that guy took it real serious. I bet he was like diving. People were probably getting hurt, and they were like, "What the fuck, man?" And he's like, "Oh, I take it serious." And then he, every once in a while, he would sort of excuse himself, go out to his car, reposition the panties and garter that he's wearing under his athletic clothes.
rock climbing used to go to an indoor gym once a week. It's not easy to go outdoors when you're working 9 to 5. But they say all you need is shoes, harness, and a chalk bag. That's still pretty pricey, though, I would think. Unless you're like, I feel like that's a thing that you would need to like have a chance to try out before you threw a bunch of money into it. Backpacking is kind of the same way. Like that's sort of an expensive hobby. Like you need a chance to go, usually like in a group setting.
Well,
And then you decide, I invest more in gear once you decide you like it.
if you ignore safety, you could get started for real cheap. Just go find a mountain and crawl up it.
Yeah.
There's not enough surplus those things, so I'm just gonna do it by hand. Look at all, we got these blue cubes. So many blue cubes. What's taking so long down here? Oh, I see. A critical power supply issue.
Whoops.
Let's not talk about that.
Like most things, it can be cheap, but if you're going to get serious, it get expensive. Cries and backpacking gear. Watched The Revenant earlier, it looked like fun. I've been meaning to watch that. I turned it on once.
Nothing
And-
about that looks like fun.
I tried to watch it and all the characters were mumbling so badly and I was like, I can't.
Oh, they whisper in that movie.
Yeah.
I hate the whispering.
So I didn't finish it past I watched the first scene and then turned it off.
The
I was like, I don't have the mental energy to expend on this.
modern dramas, it's like, all right, let's spend $100 million to set up the perfect movie set. I mean, we've been doing this for a lot of years. We know how to do it. And after we've done that, all right, now you go and you turn the lights off. And you people acting, don't speak above a whisper. And action.
The sound guy's got the mic, almost in the shot, and he's like, no, back the mic up.
Get that in the next room, please. And everybody turn off your phone because I don't want any ambient light leaking into this shot.
Characters have strong accent, amazing film, watch it through a good sound. So see, I was watching it on the little TV in our bedroom because I was like, I'll watch this before I go to bed one night, and I was like, no, this is something I'm gonna watch on our big TV.
That's a brutal movie in terms of the savage acts that they really spend a lot of time on the rapes and the murders and the bear, of course. Oh, we've done it. What is this research? What are we unlocking? Oh, this is actually the robot upgrade.
It's just ruined in the post-production on purpose.
What am I waiting for?
Did you see the Battle of the Long Night? Neither did anyone else. Ooh, dog. We're just rolling around on her back with her tummy in the air. What are you doing? She just does this sometimes. It's really cute. Oh, she's found her bone. She's still laying on her back, but she's chewing her bone at the same time.
You know, they say that cats, when they show you their belly, it's just a sign of trust, and you shouldn't scratch their belly because they're not really asking you to do that.
Inviting, yeah.
But I think Crouton likes it. I don't know. I mean, I'm always paranoid that maybe he's not enjoying it, but he's like, he's purring. Boom. That's what we needed. And now, oil extractor. Oh yeah. And then, oil refinery. We can afford that. That's excellent. We're gonna need some liquid storage. Okay, not enough steel for that. That's an issue.
You have received the ability to fly. Double-click the
I was
space
trying to get a
key the
picture of
top,
Rue where
and
she
then
was
use
like
the
rolling
arrow
around on her
keys to
back,
control
but she,
mecha movement.
as soon as I turned the camera on her, she immediately stopped.
Increased by 150%, with more energy consumed under flight mode. Pressing the Alt key can return the mecha to the ground during the flight.
Now I can, at the cost of massive amounts of fuel, fly around.
Oh.
Look at the yellow bar. How quickly.
Oh, wow. Wow, that depletes your stuff fast.
But more importantly, better than fuel. Also, I would like a flashlight or something, a better light on my mech. I guess that one's okay. Okay, I want the output. Where do I want the output? I want the output to go toward my city, I guess. Now, let's point the output down. And we should connect all of this power. And with any luck, this should solve our power issues. Are those connected? Yeah. Beautiful. This took me a long time to figure out. Like, every other building, you use the transporters to get stuff out, but this one you have to build the conveyor directly inside of it, because obviously the most efficient way to move oil is on a conveyor belt.
So just splatter out.
Well, I mean, it comes out in these cubes.
Oh, just like in real life.
I don't know what kind of packaging they're using. It's transparent. It's really impressive.
BRB.
You built a storage tank.
Oh,
it is more
shut up,
suitable
robot.
for storing fluid than the storage. Each storage tank can only store one single type of fluid and can be built vertically. However, once it has been removed, all the stored fluid will be devastated.
It can be built vertically. Oh, can you stack these? Oh, I don't have any. We'll find out if you can stack them at another time. Okay, so that's filling up. Nice. Now, we need to refine. So we'll take the oil in the back door.
This facility will produce multiple products. To divide them, you need to set a
Oh, I
filter
hate you,
on the
buddy.
sorter. You can use tab
I hate you so
or
much.
the arrow keys on the right side of the keyboard to quickly set the filter when building the sorter.
Oh, that's a different kind of power notification. I'm no power. Did I fuck that up? It's got a connection. Okay, I guess I've moved it 2 pixels at the end. So now we can split this into hydrogen and refined fuel. And initially what I want to do with this is, well, first of all I want to bring it out into tanks. So we'll build 2 conveyors. Oh, and then we'll filter hydrogen on one and fuel on the other. Pick that up. Beautiful. Now, 2 storage tanks. I don't know how to make these give... Oh, yeah, I do know how to make these give more oil. Solve the power crisis. It's running at 18%. But that's okay. That's what we're working on. So let's go... Our tanks here. By the way, chat, if you didn't catch it earlier, I'm not looking at the chat, so I don't know what you're saying. Oh no!
Not really much.
Oh!
Talking about your cats mainly.
A piece of refined oil is jamming the input. Okay, can I delete just this? Oh, okay, nice. Perfect. So now we're storing hydrogen and refined fuel. It's liquid hydrogen. I imagine there's probably some rules and regulations on how to store that properly.
I'm back.
And then thermal power. Let's double down on thermal power.
I guess I moved it 2 pixels at the end. Well, I guess right up here from a 640 by 400 CRT. I moved something 2 pixels last week. It was Safari. It was like, I don't know. This dude was freaking out because when you clicked on something, it would jump a little bit only in Safari by 2 pixels, and it took me a little bit to figure out why it was doing that. But there's actually an issue for that on the Safari bug tracker, and he was like losing his mind, like just screaming, like slobbering into the phone, screaming, and
Slobber.
and then like, and he found that if he was using Chrome, and he used his, and he has an iPhone, because of course he has an iPhone. If you turn it sideways, it would give it a little bit of extra margin on the left side, and it would make the page more narrow, which would trigger a different breakpoint. And so they were like losing their mind, and I was like, I don't know, let me look into it. And there was an issue for that on the Chrome bug tracker. And you know how Chrome hasn't had any updates forever because of the privacy labels? It was like, that's a bug in Chrome. Here's the...
We know about it, and we don't care.
Yeah, and it was just like, you know why it's doing that, right? You know why it gives you some extra pad? Because you have a notch on your phone. It's like, it's a bug in Chrome. And because that was a bug in Safari like 6 months ago, but Apple fixed it in Safari. But now it exists in Chrome. And so like they were losing their mind, and it's like, well, here's another issue it's not my fault. I don't have anything to do with it. But it's like, you know, they've already lost their mind, so you know, they're not gonna take that back. See Miami just subscribed to Tier 1. They've subscribed for 23 months.
Thanks.
But yeah, there's people like that where they're like, they're really smart in one thing, but they just don't have any idea how the internet works. And you try to explain it to them, and it's just like, yeah, web pages sometimes render differently on different devices. It doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing. It's just that that's just how it is. Oh, and by the way, here's the actual issue on the bug tracker.
Yeah. I had a similar thing with a client, this was several months ago, where I think it was it Chrome or Safari rendered, you know how like when you click an input box and there's like that little invisible, like little, not invisible I guess, but like a little dotted line that comes around it in the focus state?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's different between browsers, and someone lost their mind over that. And I was like, I can't change.
Different.
That's default browser behavior. Like
you obviously have no idea what you should be asking for, then, right? I mean, but with Safari, the first issue was line height. Like if you could get into a situation where the line height was wrong. But then the second situation is just like, go to google.com, rotate your iPhone. Do you see that it has extra padding on google.com? Yeah. So what do you want me to do about the padding?
the outline thing, though, it's a accessibility thing. Like they wanted to remove it entirely, and I was like, well, it's not a great idea because like you need to have some sort of thing that indicates for your certain users that like it's working the way it's supposed to, blah blah blah. But it appears that 10% of the users of our site are left-handed. Could you fix that, please? I will go chop off their hands individually, so your website can be experienced the way you envisioned it.
We've detected that you rotated your phone. I honestly thought about putting one of those things on the thing where it's like in landscape, it just has blinking text. It's like, please rotate your phone. You ever see those? I mean, everything else.
Yeah,
worked. It just looked different, and it was like, I don't understand why this browser looks different than this browser. And it's like, well, it's because this one's not as wide. Like, there's nothing that's broken. There's nothing that didn't work. It just looked different because it hit a breakpoint that rearranged the stuff to fit better at a more narrow breakpoint. God, that was frustrating. Because it's just like, I'm putting in just a black hole of time here that I'm never going to get paid for because they're too stupid to understand the product.
For me, it's like, I don't mind to look into that for a client if it's something that's really bothering them, but I feel like it's such a inefficient use of time and money for such a tiny issue that most users aren't going to notice.
Or that browser vendors will have fixed by the time I have to work around.
And it's like, how many hours do you want to pay me? Because I know you're paying me hourly.
The Chrome issue tracker was literally like, this is going to be the next time we release Chrome. But the reason they hadn't released a new version of Chrome yet, it's the damn privacy warning labels.
Are you getting nervous if you're like a Chrome developer right now? Because it's like, I don't know, it's been like 3 or 4 months and we just sit around in our office all day not fixing bugs because it'll never get pushed.
They're fixing them. They're just not. It's stuck upstream. So it's gonna be like when I fixed the drain outside. It was just a flood of biblical proportions of just the blackest, most vile thing that you could imagine. Horrifying, but also satisfying when there's a release of that magnitude.
Adobe Flash backlash? ?
Flash stopped working, so
yeah,
why did this break?
I haven't had any clients complain about it. Like, most people knew it was coming because we've either warned them or they read about it themselves, and like they took precautions to make sure their stuff would still work.
Yeah, I haven't had any old people come out of the woodwork to be like, I know you haven't heard from us in 5 years, but this mysteriously stopped working. And it's like, well, it wasn't mysterious.
They've literally been saying for years, we're getting rid of this.
Yeah.
When can we get a level 1 text web development course?
Please no.
Yeah, I feel like there's already so much of that. I don't know if we could add anything more to it other than like just cynicism.
I want, on the one hand, I want to do that just so I can use it to beat people over the head. That would be really handy. It's like, your ideas are bad, and here is some industry recognized experts that I would like you to meet to tell you that your ideas are bad. Here is Paul Irish. Paul Irish is going to tell you just how dumb you are, that you're not listening when I say this is a browser bug and this is just how it works. Like, I'm not just saying that because I'm lazy or a terrible person, and we can try to find a workaround, but it's Paul Irish. Like, he's the guy. And that would be fun, but I don't think that would actually be an effective use of time.
It's the magnet production that's killing us.
I'm really excited by little things like WebAssembly too. Like, I went down a rabbit hole. I think I was telling you about this, Krista. I don't remember. I went down a rabbit hole on, justified text. Like,
Right.
the browser, all the browsers have an unbelievably shitty algorithm to do justified text. Because I'm reading this book that has really, like, it's all justified, and it's really amazing. Like, the typesetter, it's an older book, and the typesetter's done a really incredible job with the justification, I guess.
The typesetting. So when you have to justify text, if you're doing a good job, you will hand justify it. So what that person is doing is they go through between each character and adjust the kerning individually, so you don't get weird gaps. And it literally takes ages to do that.
It literally looks amazing though, and like the rest of the typography in the book is good. So doing that with JavaScript would be too slow. That's insane. But there's somebody that's working on a WebAssembly library, because WebAssembly is basically like native code for the browser, and there's a guy that's working on native, as in WebAssembly code, to do just justification. And some of the little demos that he has are incredible, and it completely changes the way that the browser renders fonts and line spacing and stuff, and the typography is just incredible. And like, I'm not even into that, and I can appreciate it.
So if it, like, say you have a block of text, a paragraph, and there's like widow or an orphan at the end of the line, instead of spacing those letters way out, will it know to make that ragged left?
Yeah, the code, not all of it is public yet, because I wrote him an email, and it was like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and so we got a little side conversation going, and not all of it's public yet, but right now, the code for doing all of that is like 15 or 20 pages long. Some of it is borrowed from LaTeX, which is like this layout engine thing that's usually used for math and stuff. But yeah, it's incredible. It's just completely incredible.
That was my design internship. I had to do a lot of typesetting for like books and PDFs and e-publication. And a lot of my job would just be going through and kerning individual words and letters to make sure that they all lined up correctly and you didn't end up with like weird hyphens anywhere. If you ever read a book and you notice a lot of like hyphenization happening in words that don't normally have hyphens, that means it was typeset poorly. In the web, you can't really like control that to that granular level, but if you're reading a book, something that's in print, you shouldn't see a lot of hyphens.
Yeah, it's going to be a neat little library when he's done with it, I think. There's it's weird because I also happen to know somebody else that found something similar and is working on a similar project, but as far as I know, they don't know each other, so it's really just bizarre. But I never thought about justified text, and then you go down that rabbit hole and like you look at the algorithm and it's like, holy crap, this is insane.
It's I don't typeset stuff with justified text very often because you get the weird kerning thing, like where you have letters that are super spaced out, but also because with ragged left, it's a little bit easier for your mind to like read that and like keep your place. So I don't usually set long amounts of text justified, but it does have its place.
I think the algorithm seemed like it would go all the way back to the beginning of the paragraph if it had to, but it would try to keep the adjustments consistent throughout. a given page of text and consistent for the whole text if like you were doing a book, but it was weighted based on proximity.
Well,
So it was crazy.
yeah, but like justified text, I'm saying like for the human reader.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when you have it all the same on one side like that, it's your eye will lose your spot a little bit more. So if you're doing like a long amount of text, you usually don't justify it. You usually do ragged left. Also, there's been some studies that say that serif fonts are easier for people to read, especially if you're like dyslexic or something. You don't confuse the letters as much because the shapes are more unique.
Oh yeah. There's a special font for dyslexics.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's neat. I don't know how effective it is. I do have a friend who's dyslexic. I should ask her if she's seen that.
I know somebody that they use overrides, and they made their system font that, and all the web page fonts are that, and they say it really helps them a lot. But they could also just be saying that.
Is Grizzle still alive or is the AI playing?
Dude, I'm so tuned out of this.
You don't care about
I'm in
fonts?
physical pain from this fucking conversation.
Why
I
don't you
wondered
care
why you
about
weren't
fonts?
saying anything. I wondered why you weren't going to say anything, but I was going to take my chance.
Color me surprised that you don't have strong feelings about typesetting.
I'll take I'll take 45. I'll go as far as 60 seconds. After that, go fuck yourself.
I'd rather be handcrafting spaghetti to escape this work-like conversation on a Sunday. Yeah, we don't have to think about bad screen for like 12 hours. And now it's all I can think about. Oh no.
Sorry.
Bad screen.
What am I out of? Oh, fucking iron. I can't remember. All right. Ooh, this research is moving slow. Although this is, it's one of those games where I'm probably doing everything like 8 times faster now that I know how to do it. But I'm having a quarter of the fun.
What is Ryan YouTube cat channel? I think it's L1 cats, right?
Yes. In hindsight, probably should have kept the naming convention constant. But I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Fine.
Has not updated in a long time.
I have not yet unboxed and dealt with the new lighting and camera and tripod setup. But one of my goals with that is cat videos.
It was not as complicated as I anticipated it might be. If that's a good thing.
Isn't the desk tower bracket clamp thing just amazing?
It did work better than I expected to. I have to sit further back just because like the layout of that room, it's not big enough for me to stay in focus at a certain length, but it works really well. I was afraid that like that little flimsy desk we have in our guest room would not hold that thing up, but it's been fine. Works fine. I've even left the camera sitting in it And I don't have a fear that it's going to tumble in the middle of the night and then bust the lens, and then I'll have to wake up crying.
What about a curious little pup?
Rue's not in the guest room very often. And when she is, she goes over to the window to look out. That's like her main thing.
Man, having the 2-story, it's not even 2-story, it's more than that, but it's actually the 3rd story of conveyor to get to the 2nd story of storage. It's a little confusing, but having that really gives you the opportunity to fix your mistakes. Like, this would have just been a complete loss. But you go in, you add a little verticality to it, boom, look at that. We're doubling our plate production into the chip production, which is our stumbling block at this point.
I don't see any blinking things saying that you're running out of power, so that's good.
No, because see, let me take you on a little tour here, Krista. What we did is, wait, what was that? Oh yeah, over here.
Is this your oil thing?
We extracted this oil, and then we're filling up this tank. We're splitting it here in our refinery into hydrogen, liquid hydrogen, and refined fuel, and then we have these nice little power plants running off of those.
Ah.
Green energy.
Oil keeps the lights on.
And the Middle Eastern guy's rich. I was watching that Conor McGregor fight, and it didn't even occur to me that, because I haven't watched UFC in a while, but as I was getting ready to watch it, I was like, wait a minute. How the fuck during a pandemic are we having UFC fights?
Were there people in the crowd?
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on here? And then as soon as Bruce Buffer started, it's like, live from Abu Dhabi. And I was like, oh, okay. That's how they did that.
Yeah, I saw everyone talking about that yesterday, and I was just like, what? Didn't he... I don't want to spoil it for anybody in the chat, but didn't he do really badly?
No, I don't think so. Well, spoiler... That's enough of a spoiler alert, right?
Yeah, they have a moment. Turn it off.
I had it spoiled for me this morning as soon as I looked at the news. The news sites don't even try anymore. He lost, but I think he just got caught. Well, his way of fighting is like really cocky, and he did have his hands down, but yeah, I think he was doing really well up until the point where he got knocked out. One of my favorite things, though, that they do in those fights, as opposed to boxing, you know, is the leg kicks. The leg kicks made such a difference there. And it's such a little thing that you wouldn't even like. If I'm looking to kill somebody, I'm not going to kick them in the leg, but it's super effective.
No, you would just pull out a gun. That's more your speed.
Well, they don't allow guns in the octagon, which is
That seems like an oversight.
I've written so many letters, but I don't think they're going to change it. Okay, so now we need... What do we want next? Oh, we should finish this. Alright, so we got this. Oh, wait a minute. Why is nothing happening here? Oh, it's just happening very slowly. Processing rock takes a long time. Alright, electromagnetic drives. I like it. I think maybe it's time. Can we get the solar sail? I think we need to update the core. Oh, red research. I don't have any red research. Okay, red research. Now for red research, that is oil-based and coal-based, right? Oh, I have to unlock it. Oh. Are you guys gonna punish me for shitting on your conversation by just going completely silent?
No, sorry. I was reading something else.
Oh, we're not storing our steel.
This is maybe a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask anyway. You live on like what, an acre?
I can't remember if it's 1.2 or 1.4, but yeah, about that.
Could you put a gun range on your little plot of land? With like a berm or something, or a hillside?
Yeah. So the way that works is, I've actually read a lot of forum posts about this. It is legal, and we are out here. I don't think quiet time matters. So normally it would be 10 to 7, I think. But out here, I don't think it matters. However, that is only for personal use. If someone else were going to use it, especially if they were going to pay me, I would have to install an insane number of safety features.
Ah.
But the other thing that they often talk about on the forum is totally legal, and you know, they point out the laws, the Kentucky state laws, or whatever state they're talking about, and no one has any right to tell you not to do that. But they will call the cops, and the cops will show up, and the cops will be like, can you just stop? And when you say no, then the cops might choose to fuck with you.
You just have the one neighbor who's like kind of close, right?
Well, it's so this road has 5 houses, and it's like there's a little cluster of 4. They're not super close, but where that's a terrible way of explaining it.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it, but
I mean, I probably couldn't throw a rock at any house other than one, but I can see them all.
so if you should make friends with the neighbor you're closest to, and then like bring them over some snacks, some cookies, and then casually mention, oh, by the way, you may hear me shooting, in the afternoon sometime.
Well,
and become friends.
Here's the part you're leaving out, Krista. When do I rob the bank?
Once the cops start to mess with you, just get free realism for target practice.
That's the other thing. Cops are going to approach you when you have a gun,
Yeah.
and you might get killed. Okay, what was my... Oh, yeah. So we need more blue energy immediately. But here's the other thing about that, Krista. The lead is not good for your property.
I don't know anything about that. I just was curious.
Well, I mean, you've read about the aqueducts of ancient Rome. It's lead, and it's in your property, and then groundwater and everything. Plus, brass. I mean, the brass is not bad for you, but it's bad for your lawnmower. So it could get annoying to shoot at your own house if you're going to, if it's right there at your house.
How did the place you used to shoot at, how did they deal with that? Did they just... I guess it was like a lucrative business for them, so it was probably worth the hassle, but...
No, I mean, they're not going to do anything with that land other than have it to be that. I mean, you're just shooting into the hillside. And the brass, they don't do anything with the brass. It just lays there and rusts. But it's gravel, so I mean, it's not a big difference walking on brass and walking on gravel. Alright, we've got our research going. Oh, red research. Now, why are you operating so slowly? Oh, the power system. The power system is not running at max efficiency.
Airman Curtis, subscribe with
Oh,
us,
yes.
Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hmm. I mean, I could go towards solar panels, I guess. That doesn't help at night.
Do they just shut off automatically at night in this game?
The solar
If you do
panels,
solar- Yeah.
they, the animation actually tracks the sun, which is cool. Everything is operating on realistic orbits. So, like, when you're traveling through space, like, let's say that we want to go and visit whatever that thing is, I can't even see. Then we have to plan our flight to catch them in orbit. You don't just fly straight at them.
Oh, okay.
But, so the solar panels accurately reflect when they're getting sunlight, when they're not.
But my point was, though, so like we have little solar lights in our garden, and they usually, I mean, they don't stay on the whole night, but if they get a full day of sun, they'll usually stay on for a few hours, even after the sun's gone down. This game, just more reasons to quit it every day.
I think you draw more power drilling into the earth than you do lighting a tiny LED.
No, absolutely not. I actually love our little solar lights on our deck.
I have those, and I always forget to put them back in the ground after I pull them out to weed eat around them, so I'm down to like 3. I don't know what happens to them.
Oh, do you have like the ones that are like just on a stake?
Yeah, they look like those German hand grenades.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we've got the solar panels that go down in the ground on a stake, but ours are like the little twinkly fairy lights, and we have it wrapped around our banister on our patio. It's really cute.
Yeah, sometimes I'll see on those deal sites, I'll see the giant light strips that are on your banisters and stuff. And for a brief moment, I'm like, I should get that. And then I'm like, why would I get that?
It's whimsical.
Why would I care?
Whimsy.
Other people are going to be looking at that, not me. When am I outside looking at my own house?
When you're admiring your fairy lights.
I'm starting to get into this part of the game where I just don't even know what to do next. Let's look at the tech tree. Oh, right. Red research. Let's see if we can find more oil.
When we got married, we bought a bunch of those like cool globe lights that you can hang up, and I kept a bunch of them because I was excited. I was like, oh, I can use those on our porch. None of the outlets in this apartment work outside, so I've just got them in the box.
Is there
Save them for another day?
There might be some sort of legal ramification there.
What, for not having an
Functional
outlet that works?
Outdoor outlets, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was like a serious problem.
I
I mean,
don't
it's
know
not
if it
really a
is.
deal, but
I don't know if it is, but I'm thinking like, what if you can't do basic tasks outside?
yeah.
Although they could argue that you don't have to.
Sometimes there's a light switch. Is there a light switch that mysteriously doesn't do anything?
No. And it's so we have an outlet by the front porch, and we have an outlet on the patio, on like the top patio, and then down on the concrete one underneath, and none of them work. So,
Huh.
rip. Yeah, I was like, oh, that would be so cute to string up some of those lights, and
Oh, look how
I mean,
perfect.
hopefully it's not my problem much longer, but
This is absolutely perfect because we need coal and oil to do red research. It's like the procedural generation loves me. Oh, but I'm out of that. What is that? Stone.
Outlets that don't work correctly are a problem that needs to be fixed. Yeah, it turns out.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's one of those things where they're not allowed to just blow you off about it because of the rental laws.
I don't think this company really cares.
They care if you had a U.S. Marshal in there auctioning off their shit, because that's where that can go if they ignore you.
See, I had issues with my heat at my last place. Like, constant issues with the heat. And I would, like, take pictures of it being cold in my apartment and then be like, you need to come out here and fix the heat, and they would still drag their feet.
That's definitely illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those situations where they don't think you'll get the lawyer.
Yeah. And I won't, because I don't give a shit. This company's a slumlord.
They all are.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, this is kind of like cops. You know, I'm no fan of cops, but you do have to remember that the other, let's say that they had 10 interactions that day, one of which is you. 7 of the other ones were assholes, probably. Doesn't make it okay. They chose the job of dealing with assholes, but at the same time, I don't know that I would be able to separate that. You know?
My old place too, I remember the water heater. It was really old, and one day I came downstairs and in the kitchen it smelled like smoke. And I, you know, immediately called the landlord and was like, it smells weird in here, I don't know what's causing that smell. And, sorry, Rue's bothering me. And it turned out, like later on, we found out it was a water heater, but I had to call them like 3 or 4 times, and it took them a week to come out and actually fix it and replace it. Garbage people.
I got my air fryer, and they got these big signs all over it. It's like, there's plastic in here. Do not turn this on until you get the plastic out. And then, you know, you like take another layer, and then there's another giant sign. There's plastic in here. And so I cleaned it all out and fired it up, and I made my my chicken thighs. And then the next day, cleaned everything, and then I made what's the second thing I made? Maybe steak. And then after I made the steak, I was just like cleaning out the inside of the unit. It really doesn't get dirty, but I was just, you know, I'm trying to make sure. And there was a piece of cardboard in there the entire time.
Wow.
And it was fine. It wasn't even blackened.
You're the kind of person those labels are for, though.
But they didn't say cardboard. They said plastic. I got all the plastic. So yeah, I could have easily burned the house down. I was thinking about that. It's like, God, could I get Crouton out of a burning house without him ripping me to shreds? I don't think I could.
Can you get either cat out? Like, cause cats are kind of weird about like getting picked up, especially if you're running. Like
Toast, he'll run less and less, but he will still run. But once I get him, he's resigned to his fate. He knows I'm not really gonna hurt him. Crouton does not have that confidence in me, I guess, because those back legs, Crouton's little back legs kind of have a mind of their own. Even when I'm petting him, he's constantly kicking at me with his back legs. Okay, we need power. Did we make? Okay, we made those. But I would just have to suffer his attacks, I think, to get him out of here. If I get him by the scruff, you know, you can basically paralyze him if you grip him hard enough. Temporarily.
I think Rue would come right out. Like, anytime you want to go outside, Rue is down. There would be no problem. Like, if I grabbed the leash, you'd be like, all right, let's go.
But I can't. Yeah, getting them outside would be easier, but then I have to retain them.
Yeah, that would be difficult. You should get them used to walking on a leash. It's the only solution.
You know what? I need to get them the harness. I wonder if... Here's the thing, though. If I harness them at the same time, that's going to be difficult to control. Especially if one of them gets spooked.
Well, then you're gonna have to make sure it's tight enough that they can't wiggle out of it.
Exactly, but if I don't harness them at the same time, one of them is going to be in the house losing their goddamn mind.
Why is he outside?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be outside.
Do I have no storage for my steel? What a foolish move.
In college, me and one of my roommates had a bunny, and we used to put the bunny on a leash. That was not really like super effective. It was more like we want to hang out outside and we'll take the bunny out with us, and then the bunny would just eat like grass while we hung out.
Now they're big explorers, but they're also huge cowards, so I would be hilarious to see. Also, the neighbors have a dog that they don't put on any kind of leash or anything. And I would have to kill the dog, or the dog would kill me.
Is it a big dog?
Yeah, it's one of those lassie dogs.
Ah. Yeah, the place we're looking at right now, so it has a really good yard, but it's not fenced, so it's something we're gonna have to do. So we will have to be either on a line or on a leash until we get that done.
Well, I thought you didn't let her out unsupervised.
I don't, but like it'd be nice if we had a fence around there. We could play fetch outside.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like so she could run around and play.
The other thing about that I don't like the idea of is, like you were talking about earlier, fleas and ticks and stuff. I don't have to think about that at all right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rue has to have a treatment. She takes like a pill every month, which I need to buy some more. Not like it's a big deal right now because it's cold and we're not out too much, but soon it will be.
Save.
Yeah.
Was there oil down here all along?
Oh.
So where was... See, this is the other thing about this. I get turned around.
Disoriented.
You know what's interesting about this, though, and I've not utilized this, but it occurred to me, because it's the whole planet, you really, if you plan it correctly, you're never going to have completely blacked out solar.
Oh, good point. There'd always be one side that had sunlight coming on.
What if in the future you could, terraforming and all that stuff and amazing new technology, not only could you have a tiny house, you could have a tiny planet to live on.
Oh. If Musk allows it.
How do I not have... Oh, I know why.
Can you fall in the water and drown?
No, it forces you to fly when you're over the water.
Ah.
You can run out of fuel. I don't know what happens, though.
Oh, we should test that. Save your progress and then drown yourself. Actually, does it auto-save like continually, or?
It does, but I will do a...
Test it for content. For the algorithm. For chat. It's gonna say you gotta burn your fuel faster.
Here we go. How about this?
Ooh.
Can I not kick it into planet mode? Oh, I haven't unlocked that yet. Never mind.
Go see if you can drown. Oh, nothing happened.
As soon as you get enough energy, because I'm burning coal.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just walk through the water.
Oh. I was like thinking that might do something to you. So there really is no danger on this planet.
No, not really. Well, there is the danger of losing where I was working, which
Oh.
I've fallen victim
Oh, I
to.
see it. It's on the left. Nope.
Is
Do you
it?
see it? Yeah, it's on the left.
That's the big...
Oh, I don't know where you were working, but your base is over that way.
But I'm looking for the red oil production. There is the mini-map. It's kind of helpful. When you get the next unlock, which actually I'm not even researching anything. What do we want? Okay, solar panels. Sounds fine. But you can just sort of like orbit the planet and travel fast in orbit. I remember I was reading that article. Oh, now see, this is what happens when you're totally out of energy. It's like on the moon.
Oh, whoa, you're so slow.
Look, the animation is even slow when he's not making contact with the ground. He's weightless. Oh,
All
I'm
your
burning.
sloshing around in there.
I'm burning fuel. Why am I? I'm not even cooking anything. I guess I usually don't burn all the energy like that. But now I got my magnets, so I can make my drill. Wow, I'm really in an energy deficit right now. You can build a little thing that charges you off the network, but it's kind of pointless, I guess, at the moment.
Well, if you can just get trees. I guess some planets won't have them, but
Yeah, but I'm not recharging at a fast enough rate at the moment. Usually I've got that big buffer, but I just ran it all out, so I'm suffering.
well, you had to do that for science, so that was important.
Okay, so now we've got... We need a tank. Also, we are out of blue cubes. If people really had mechs that ran on, you know, whatever kind of
Wood. Yeah.
whatever kind of
Sticks.
fuel, anything that would burn, basically, can you imagine the kind of devastation this would have on the land around us? People just stripping it.
Marinating pork shoulder. That was a little bit ago. Look at you doing meal prep on a Sunday.
You know, that's the one big complaint about the air fryer, is I made up a bunch of meatballs, but the basket is so small.
You can't make enough for the whole week.
So the batches, it's fast, but once you do 5 batches, it's not fast anymore.
So we did that soup in the Instapot, and we'll probably be eating soup for like a week. We may give some of that soup to our neighbors.
I like that though. I like making shit all at once.
Yeah, and then you can just eat it all week. I made a bunch of meatloaf earlier, then I ate more than I was planning to. So we did that yesterday, but we did that with, when we went to Sam's Club, we found a giant box of Red Lobster biscuit mix. And we tried it for the first time yesterday, and it is so good.
How close do you say it is?
Almost 100%. Like, I don't really notice a difference.
What is it? Just add water?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really good.
That's impressive.
And I'm like, well, maybe we're going to have to buy this every time we go now. Because I don't know how much longer that box is going to last.
Is that exclusive to them? Is that a Kirkland signature?
I don't know. You can probably get that anywhere.
Can I subscribe and save?
I was going to say, it's on Amazon.
Dude, is it like a
Butter biscuits every day for lunch.
40-ounce box?
Oh, it is on subscribe and save.
What give us the cost?
For... It just says 16 cents per ounce. It's $21.
Oh, listen to this. I buy a lot of my shit based on that per ounce thing, and I don't always pay attention to the other price. And I thought I was getting... They had this really good deal on oatmeal raisin cookies, and everybody always shits on oatmeal raisin cookies, but I like them. I think they're fine. Yeah, exactly. I remember we had that conversation when
The
about the
data
poop
shows
cookies.
this is a planet without natural silicone veins.
So
However, you can still obtain some by smelting stone.
the per ounce cost
While
was
you
just
still need a massive silicone
amazingly
collection,
low. I can't remember what it
you
was,
need to
but it
find
was
a planet
really,
rich
really
with
low. And
silicone
I was like,
veins
wow,
as soon as possible.
I'm gonna get those. And it was a 12 pack, and I thought it was those little like snack packs that you get at a gas station.
Yeah.
Well, it was 12 full size oatmeal raisin cookie packages.
Oh.
So I have 12 full size oatmeal raisin.
That is a gross of oatmeal raisin cookies, is it not?
I'm already tired of them.
You gotta give them some to your cats so they can enjoy with you.
The cats don't need that.
They do.
They're really crunchy. I don't think the cats will be able to do much with them.
Man, these biscuits are good. Now I'm like, man, I should make some. We ate all of the leftovers. They're so good, chat. Oh, the rosemary garlic parmesan is more expensive.
Oh, they have different flavors?
Yeah, I guess so. There's also a gluten-free mix.
I thought... Now, the ones you got, are they cheddar flavor?
Yeah, we got the cheddar, the basic bitch.
Cheddar Bay. Are the other biscuits not from Cheddar Bay?
I guess not. They're from rosemary garlic parmesan bay.
The Cape of Parmesan? That's one of those things where, the guy from, was it IBM who invented the cell phone? Didn't get shit from it? The guy who invented Cheddar Bay biscuits, you think he ever saw any money from that?
It's probably the owner, right?
I don't know.
Who did Red Lobster? Google.
That's not a guarantee that that's the person who came up with those biscuits, though.
It's true.
Alright, so what we need to do...
Get paid for Red Lobster.
What's my
there.
goal here?
Red Lobster Restaurant. American casual dining restaurant chain, headquartered in Orlando, Florida.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely be a little bit concerned if Red Lobster was headquartered in Missouri.
By entrepreneurs Bill Darden and Charlie Woodsby. In 1970, General Mills acquired Red Lobster as a 5-unit company.
Oh. I didn't know that there was a lot of milling involved in the lobster process. Alright, well now we're having a power problem again. Jesus Christ. So what I need is red power. Red power costs 1 hydrogen and 1 graphene. Is that what that is? Graphite. Energetic graphite. A lazy graphite will never make the grade.
In February of 2016, Red Lobster was exposed for using less expensive, I don't know how to pronounce this word, langostino, along with Maine lobster in their lobster bisque recipe.
That's a type of lobster, right?
Oh, I guess so. Let's click the link. The meat of the squat lobster, which is neither a true lobster nor a prawn.
The squat lobster.
Click on that. We're just going down a black hole on Wikipedia. Oh, look at it, chat. Hang on, I'll post that link.
Squat lobster.
Flattened crustacean with long tails. I mean, this looks like just sea spider, right? Sea spider is sea spider. I'll eat it either way.
Well, I mean, yeah, lobster kind of looks like a sea spider too.
I don't know. Wikipedia said there was controversy because they weren't using just Maine lobster for their bisque.
What percentage of the population do you think could tell?
None, because I used to get the lobster bisque all the time. It's like a cheap thing to get at Red Lobster.
But you're not necessarily a lobster expert, are you?
No, not really.
Not really, or not at all?
Not at all. I used to eat a lot of crab when I was a kid. We used to crab fish. We lived in Washington.
You know what? I used to eat a shitload of Cheerios when I was a kid, but I don't feel that I have any sort of position of knowledge. Oh, would you like to talk about 12 grains?
Listen, I just remember my dad, we'd put some raw chicken in the basket, you throw it over the boat, and then you pull it back up, and it's full of, little baby crabs. And
well, okay, I will definitely give you, if you have been lobstering, you probably are way ahead of the pack.
But yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about why you would like the squat lobster over the Maine lobster.
The name does hint that might not be the best lobster.
No lobster. It is kind of hard to find good seafood around here, seeing as we're landlocked.
I know we've talked about this on the stream before, and then somebody complained about this the other day, made me paranoid about it, but the whole story about how they didn't figure out to boil the lobsters alive. And before they figured that out, they just fed them to the prisoners because they were just, the way they described it is like you couldn't walk down the beach without kicking lobsters out of the way.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And then some genius boiled one alive, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
That became like a luxury item.
Oh, fuck. Oh, this is so frustrating, chat. So,
What'd you do?
I've poisoned my well here. I have to filter this. And now it's been poisoned. Now I gotta delete it.
What about sushi in the chat too? That's something the pandemic, it hasn't totally taken it. We've gotten takeout a couple times, but the pandemic has taken sushi.
I did a lot of takeout in the early days of the pandemic, but anymore, I hardly ever do it.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's fucked up too. Oh, jeez.
Hoping someone figures out how to make kudzu into a delicacy. Nope, just a horribly invasive vine.
They, somebody, it might have been the UK or Canada, approved cooking with bugs.
Just any bug, or do you have to have any kind of credential to know how to handle them, or?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't read it that closely, but previously it was against the law to put bugs in food. It was like a food safety type thing.
Okay, ZDH7 says that was EU, it was mealworm.
What the
Well,
fuck?
they need that for filler.
How did hydrogen get in here?
No one knows. I had to do an experiment in a biology class in high school with mealworms. We kept some in like a warm cabinet that was dark, and then we kept some in a warm spot that was sunny, and then we kept some in a fridge, and we had to see which ones did the best. Turns out the ones that got the sunlight and the warmth did best.
Really? I thought worms dried out.
No, these aren't worms. These were mealworms. Like these, like I don't know how to describe them.
Oh, you're talking about like the ones you use for bait.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to do an experiment and like track their growth.
Oh, this power situation is dire. Why did I come over here?
Bugs just gonna get fancy cryptic names. I mean, mealworms not really. End up in your fast food.
Free-range organic mealworms.
Grown in my high school biology lab. Honestly, like, if they were like ground up into like a powder and I couldn't see them, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah. I don't see any difference between that and the mechanically separated chicken.
Yeah. Like the thing with bugs is like the weird part of it is just knowing that like it's a creepy crawly, but if you take the creepy crawly visual out of it, I mean, who cares?
I bought these burritos, and it was just, you know, I just experiment with shit in the grocery stores a lot. I'll just buy random shit just to see if I like it. And that was what this was. And it was the Protein Lovers breakfast burrito. And it looked like it had like ground up sausage and stuff in it, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be good. So I made it and I ate it, and I was like, oh, that was okay, but the meat was just so stringy and grainy and crappy. But I like the flavor. So I got a couple more of them. And this has been like over a couple of weeks. I just realized the other day, these were vegan burritos. There was no meat.
Oh, so was it like tofu or?
I don't even know what was in it.
Oh, did you keep the box? You should read it.
No, I didn't. I threw them away, but I noticed it as I was looking at. I was like, maybe I'll get a different flavor this time because those flavors aren't that great. Also, you know how everybody's doing the fake meat stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I watched those Japanese vending machine and, you know, like miso house type videos on YouTube. They have the same kind of thing going on over there, but it's fake pork. And I wonder, is that because of ethics, or is that because they constantly have pork disease outbreaks?
Yeah. It kills me because, like, whenever I look up recipes, there's always, like, vegetarian ones, and I'm like, that seems delicious, but, like, will it really be delicious? Or is this person just really into food? I feel that way, actually, about most recipes. I just feel like I don't enjoy food the way that people who cook do.
You know those would you rather type websites? I saw one of those one time, and it was one of those where it's like, at first it seems like an obvious choice, but then when I was really thinking about it, I was like, wow, that would be an everyday life where you wake up and you know that a part of your day is just going to be shit. And the option was, it wasn't even a would you rather. It was just like, you know, you get one good thing and one bad thing. So the good thing was an insane amount of money, maybe even unlimited money. And the bad thing was forced raw vegan diet for the rest of your life.
That would be hard.
Vegan, okay, maybe we could negotiate that, but raw vegan, like, what can you even do to make that less miserable?
Yeah, there's something to be said for, like, warm food. Some people, when they do like hiking trips, they'll do completely like cold soaked meals. Like, they don't bring a stove or anything to save weight. And I just, like, that's fine during the summer, but it's so nice when it's cold out and you get out of your hammock, that you can fire up your stove and have a hot meal in the morning.
Now, why is this moving so slow? It's because there's not enough power. Okay, so let's just dump these. Maybe this will solve our problem.
They have cricket flour at Whole Foods. I wonder how well that works.
Well, they've got that chitin, which you can definitely turn into a powder. But I don't know.
I was reading about like potato flour the other day, but I don't know how well it works either.
I use almond flour from time to time. That works great. Although the almond flour chicken thighs I made in the air fryer were not great.
It's potato flour, and then another plant that grows around here really well apparently is hazelnut, and I was like, that might be cool to plant. Because I like hazelnut anyway, but apparently you can make a flour out of it as well.
That's not a tree?
A hazelnut is, yeah. They're not massive though.
Isn't that going to take years and years to bear any fruit though?
I don't think so. I think if I got one like that was already a couple years old from like a nursery, it'd be alright. Wife uses potato flour in cooking, usually in Asian dishes. See, potatoes, we had really good luck with our potatoes last year. And if I had a big enough plot of them, like it would be a good way to preserve them would be dehydrating them into like a flour or a powder. Oh, might have been sweet potato. I mean, we could grow sweet potatoes here too. They'll grow in Zone 6.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really curious if your gardening reality meets your gardening ambition.
I mean, it's not something that happens overnight. Like, you develop it over time. Like, my first time trying to grow potatoes, for example, at my old apartment did not go super well.
So
but then when we grew them here, they were fine.
You're not going to get discouraged if year one is a massive disaster?
No, they'd be fine. Well, like, this year we grew corn. Technically, we did get some corn, but it was really, really tiny. But that doesn't necessarily mean we can't ever grow corn. It just means we did not have ideal conditions for corn on a patio, as it turns out. But it was a fun experiment. It was $3 for the seedlings. I mean, we didn't really lose a lot there.
Yeah, but what about your time?
I mean, you just water it. That's the beautiful thing about plants. They don't require a ton of tending most of the time.
There's some commercial farmers in the chat who are just throwing shit right now.
Well, yeah, they're also doing it at a much larger scale.
Okay, we've got our oil, and we've got our very slowly filling hydrogen tank. Now we need to convert this coal into graphite.
Pickling and fermenting are great ways to preserve. I fell down the pickling and fermenting hole on YouTube a few weeks ago, and then I was like, I don't even like fermented food that well. I don't know why I'm watching videos about this.
I got excited about the kombucha because I was like, I don't know why, but I got caught up in that. And I was like, oh man, I should make that. So, realist Ryan took the controls for a little bit, and I was like, okay, they make this shit. Go to Kroger and try it, idiot. And I did, and it tastes terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I like pickles. And very little else that's pickled.
How about brining chicken? Do you brine your chicken?
No.
I did that with a turkey like years ago, and it was amazing. But I had to do it in a bucket, and I did it in my basement because it was kind of gross.
It sounds like there's more to that. Like that was a bad idea, or not?
No, it worked out. I didn't think it was going to work out. Like, I was, like, constantly feeling like I was in over my head and that, like, there's no way this is going to turn out and it's going to be a disaster. and blah blah blah. But it was an Alton Brown recipe, and I just followed it to the letter, and I put it in the oven. And mine didn't come out nearly as brown as his did. Like it looked like it was kind of undercooked, but the little thermometer was like, no, it's cooked, because it was like kind of white and pale. But good lord, it was delicious.
Well, when you say you thought you were going to get it wrong, maybe I don't understand it, because my understanding of it is you put chicken in salt water.
I had to put it in a bucket. I didn't have anything else that would hold the chicken, and it was kind of wedged in the bucket. And, I sort of left it overnight, and like some fat and some other stuff washed off the chicken. So like the bucket in the morning, it was super not appealing. And like taking it out and kind of draining it in the sink, and then like trying to get the stuffing ready and some of the other stuff, it was not a pleasant experience. It didn't smell edible, and it was just kind of congealed and gross.
You make it sound appetizing.
It did. It ended up being delicious, but I was sure that it was going to taste like a Rubbermaid bucket.
Oh, we got real excited with the last place, so we bought a bunch of Rubbermaid buckets because we're like, we're gonna have to move. And then it didn't work out, and so now we just have a bunch of Rubbermaid buckets in our living room. I mean, we're gonna use them eventually, but we were like, oh man. I'm a vegetarian. Vegan seems a little restrictive to me. Yeah, I don't like. I wouldn't love being a vegetarian, but I think I could probably like do it okay. But vegan, I don't think I could handle. I like milk and dairy too much. Use the totes as planters. I did that this last summer. Which is part of the reason we need to buy new ones, because we didn't have any that aren't full of dirt.
That stuff is surprisingly expensive.
What, dirt or totes?
Totes.
Yeah.
I haven't
Actually,
priced dirt. I imagine there's a lot of different kinds of dirt.
Yeah, if you get like nice gardening soil, it can be a little pricey.
Have you ever like actually read the Wikipedia page on dirt? Because I have. I was curious one day.
No, but I'm headed there now.
Well, you need to learn about soil horizon. Because, you know what? That was the question I had. When does dirt become dirt? Turns out there's an answer.
Well, it's kind of what like compost is. You're making dirt out of trash.
But your compost is compost until it passes the soil horizon. Although there is some debate about where the soil horizon could be, because that compost could support plant life prior to the soil horizon.
Oh, okay. I just found the Wikipedia page for that. This is considerably denser than I expected it to be. This is a long page.
Yes, there's I mean, it's a whole big, it's a branch of science. Which, if you think about it for a moment, makes perfect sense. You can try to view the whole
planetary system, and even the entire cluster, by clicking the star map button in the lower left corner.
Our compost is actually doing, I mean, like, it's slowed down a lot, but when you open the little bin, steam comes out, and I'm like, oh, wow, we're turning trash into dirt. No one else is as excited about that as I am. When I showed it to my mom, she was just like, oh, that's nice.
My parents are excited about their compost. I got my dad this shirt from Amazon. Well, I mean, he sends me. He's like, he just sends me shit to order him.
Yeah.
And he sent me a picture, and he's like, yeah, wearing this to church today. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And then it occurred to me, I was like, wait, what the fuck? They're going to church now?
Oh. Ours is still remote.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a reply from my, like, why are you going to church? Alright, Red Research is running. I wouldn't say it's running well. Nothing on this horrible planet is running
blinky
well.
right now.
Yeah, we're getting some blinks. Look. Some improvements need to be made. But so far, I'm not pulling the kind of energy out that I need.
We got a message from Stinky Duties saying that they also get excited about compost. What a good username.
Well, it sounds like his area of interest is already in that genre.
In that realm, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there demand for Twitch priests? Most churches, like, there were some that had to adjust to, like, doing things online, but most of them already did some sort of live stream service anyway. So it was mostly just making improvements to that setup, because most of the time it's just, like, whatever crappy camera that they already had, and then they just put it on a tripod, and the sound was always kind of bad, but most of them have upgraded that now. I don't know how many stream to Twitch. I think most just do like Facebook Live or YouTube. When the late night televangelists find Twitch, it's gonna be a crazy world.
I'm surprised that's not already a thing. I guess the trolling is probably a little too
Yeah.
strong.
Would you move to Canada? No. Because my family's here. If I didn't have family, I would probably be fine with it, but... So happy you didn't mistake the I in duties for the L like everyone else does. Listen, I knew you were stepping in. I could smell it. You see Stinky, you autofill duties. Not no. Yeah, like, Canada, I'm not opposed to it. It's just, my family's here. And for all the jokes about meth and poverty, I do actually like Kentucky.
Wait a minute, where did all that coal go that I just mined? What, am I losing my mind?
I don't know.
Is this not?
If I leave the States, it's for Germany. So I wouldn't mind Canada. Like, if I had to pick another country, Canada would probably be my first pick. A, because most people there speak English, so that would make it easier to assimilate. But also because they have, like, the same sort of outdoorsy culture that we have here in the US, where you could, like, go backpacking and hiking and, like, that's okay. Whereas in Europe, it's harder to find places to do that.
So
Not as much nature in Europe, I guess.
there's my stack of coal ore. So I think there's a bug.
Oh.
I think I'm missing stacks. I should be able to just dump that in there. There you go.
Switzerland, but like, I'm talking about wilderness, like, don't see anybody for days. Not, oh, I hang out in like a pretty town and then I hang out in the mountains at a ski lodge.
But most people in Canada aren't living that lifestyle.
No, they're talking about Europe compared to like here. Because I've watched people do like hiking trips in Germany, and backpacking just doesn't seem like that's a thing there. There aren't dedicated parks in the same way that we have here in the US, or even in Canada.
But they have so much less land mass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that would be, it's not a deal breaker, because, you know, I'm sure there's other great things about living there, but that would be something I would consider.
That's you know, all the globalist apologist people are always like, there's no reason that we couldn't have billions of people on this planet. You can fit all these people in this small area, and it's true if you want to live, you know, right up against everybody else.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to do that. I'm not crazy about living next to the people that I do now. I'm gonna be honest, if they were here when I moved in, I might have picked a different place.
Oh, yeah, you have that one group who has, like, all of the old cars, right?
They're a diagonal neighbor, but I mean, I can't actually see their house unless I really, like, go to one corner of the property. But they also they're the field that's next to me. They own the field.
Problem with population is rampant consumption. Yeah, it's difficult to balance.
So many conveyor belts. Have you guys seen the video of the conveyor belt that's it's just these little individual casters and they can move in any direction, and it's smart, so it like automatically Tetrises the boxes. That's such a satisfying video.
No, I've not seen that.
I saw that. It looks amazing. You could just load everything and then just sort it and then send it back down the conveyor belt the other way. That was crazy. All right. It's 10:47. Is this a good spot to save while you're waiting on that thing to make?
There's absolutely no spot that's any better or worse than the other spot, because
Just constant upgrades.
yeah, it's just, you know how it is. It's Factorio.
It does look pretty addictive.
Yeah, I was playing this all day yesterday, and I was like, oh, we are going to stream this game. And I didn't realize until today that it's single player. But the
If I
cool
can't-
part, I don't. Let me see if I can.
Like the walls to defend against the dog. What's the point?
They might be adding that. I don't know. That would be cool. I admit that I'm feeling a little bit more bored now because this is, probably hour 18 that I've been doing this. Got to factor that into it. But let's see. I'm gonna try to pick up some. I don't have anywhere that's actually collecting fuel that I can just pick up here. This might be enough. Do I have? Let's see if we can get the solar cell. Solar sail. No, that's not it. I don't know where it is.
It's such a. Can you zoom out on that tech tree before you leave, so we can see how big it actually is?
Yeah, it won't let me fly into space.
Like, that's insane. Look at that.
Now, okay, but see, you're thinking that's crazy, right?
Right.
That's the mech suit. This is the real one. This is nothing compared to Stellaris, though, right?
Well,
Stellaris
Stellaris
seemed like it's pretty big.
Stellaris' tech tree is kind of weird though, because you don't necessarily have absolute control over it. You can stumble over one technology and another, and its tech tree is also randomized a little bit.
Well, it doesn't present it in that fashion, but there is a tree, and you can't follow the tree as you wish, but there is a tree. That's
true. Oh, XBST says that Factorio's is larger and it has speed upgrades.
Well, listen, there's no question that this was stolen wholesale from Factorio. So, it's undefendable to say this is better, but this is better.
That's one of the things that I kind of like with Stellaris. Unlocking the Dyson sphere is basically just like one long research stint, and that's it's not quite as satisfying as like some of the other stuff, because like some of the other stuff is like you discover an anomaly which leads to another thing which leads you on a 5-system chase, and it like tells a whole little story, and it's pretty cool. And then some of those really advanced technologies are like, oh, you have Dyson spheres now.
Oh, great. Thanks, game.
So the end game here, or as far as I've been, you get to the point where you get these guns, and you build the guns, or mass accelerators, and you put solar cells in them, and then it begins launching those solar cells into the sky and creating your little Dyson. Not the sphere, but they call it something else. I can't remember what it's called. And then the sphere comes later. I haven't unlocked that yet, but it does seem like you're going to get to a point where you are just spamming the sky with solar cells. You know how some of those people could launch like 50 rockets at a time in Factorio? And then you just go to a new planet. And I wonder Is there anything different about planet number 36 than there was about planet number 1? Because why would you want to do that many times?
That would be an interesting mechanic. It would be like what's the game that we were playing where you have to go to other planets to get rare elements?
Empyrean?
Yeah, Imperial.
Yeah, Empyrean, I guess. It'd be like that. It's like, oh, you need to go here to get this. And some of the stuff like with space travel, it would actually be easier to collect these elements from like that star system's asteroid belt than to get it from the planet's crust.
Yeah. I think too, like as soon as you traveled to that place, you could see what asteroids it had. So it was easier to do that than to go onto a planet after that.
This one won't have... It'll have silicon and titanium in some of the rocks, but in just very small parts. You'll have to go to... If this is like the first world, you'll have to go to this closest orbit to get titanium and silicon. Then I don't know, something will be out here. And then once you get the sphere, I guess you unlock something. But it's like, what's going to be different about this planet that makes me want to do all that again?
That's a good point. It has to have... I mean, the skill tree's so big, it has to have other stuff that you just don't know about yet.
I've probably got a third of the way through it in 18 hours. It's also early access, so it only came out last week, I think, but clearly they've been working on it for longer than that. Anyway, this is definitely a place to stop.
Good night, everybody. See you next time.